This is your go-to place for entertaining car talk, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Buzz Smith and EVs.
All right.
Enough said there. He's going to join us right off the top here, so stay tuned for that. Jeff talks muscle car one-hit wonders. We finally got the skinny on this year's SEMA show in Las Vegas from Randy Borcherding coming up. He's from Paint House.
That's going to be fun.
Conrad has the car clinic. Plus, we have the stories making automotive news headline. All straight ahead on this edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Conrad is off gallivanting the earth. He's out on the left coast, which is perfect for him. He needs to just go ahead and stay out there.
He loves it.
He loves Nancy Pelosi,
He
so
does.
we're just going to leave it at that. He'll have plenty of time with her now.
Yeah.
Because she'll have lots of time off, don't you think?
Maybe he can get her the position to cover the eastern part of his territory.
Whatever position that is, I don't want to know what that is. So,
BG.
at any rate, welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, everybody. So glad that you could join us on this rainy Saturday here in the Houston, Texas area. Of course, we broadcast this bundle of joy worldwide on the internet and on iHeartRadio, which is also worldwide. So welcome, and thank you for joining us. Let's just get right to it, shall we, Mr. Mars?
I think we should.
All right. We're trying to involve Mr. Mars here, but it's difficult. He's always on his phone or doing something, whatever it is that he does over there.
He's doing.
But look who's joined us.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mr. Sexy himself. It's Buzz Smith, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. EV, how are you, sir?
Life is wonderful.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. Lots of EV news since the last time that we talked to you. And
I've got some for you guys, too.
I'll bet you do.
Bet you we got more.
Yeah. Well, there's more of us, Buzz, as you know. But at any rate, I wanted to start off with a story that was sent to me by a PR company. Lattice Newswire. That doesn't make any difference where that's from, but did you know that Texas has the 15th fewest EV chargers per capita in the United States? Did you know that?
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today. Is it okay if we do that, or would you like to lead? Because I don't care.
No, that's fine.
Okay. I will say this, the number of EV charging stations in the U.S. has increased sharply over the past decade. These are all statistics presented with Copilot. Currently, only about 20% of the chargers are fast chargers. You probably know all of this, but for our listeners and viewers, I wanted to kind of go over this so you get an idea of where we're headed. Roughly one-third. This kind of surprised me. One-third of the nation's EV chargers are in California. Well, it kind of makes sense because I think most of the EVs are in California. Here's a summary of the data for Texas. EV chargers per 100,000 residents, 18.7. That ain't very many, my friend. 18.7 per 100,000 residents. Total EV chargers, 5,486. Level 1 chargers, 115. This is per 100,000 residents. Level 2 chargers, 4,468. Those are the ones that usually hang on your garage wall and you plug it in when you get home. And then there's the DC fast chargers, of which there are only 903. I was kind of surprised at all of those numbers. Let's for just a state of reference. For the entire U.S., EV chargers per 100,000 residents, 39.0. Total EV chargers, 128,474. Level 1 chargers, 3,448. Level 2 chargers, 103,190. And DC fast chargers, 21,782. What's wrong with Texas?
Actually, what's wrong with the numbers? The problem is that level 1 chargers,
there's
one for every EV that's ever been sold. So that number is way off. There's no way they can track that number. That's something that you plug into your 110-volt outlet at home. So how do they know how many are out there? They just don't.
Yeah, well,
in the case of the level 2 and high or DC fast chargers, we got more than enough.
You think?
For now. And here's the deal. 99% of the time, as long as you don't live like in an apartment complex where there's no charging available there, you're going to charge at home. That's the cheapest place to charge. It's the most convenient place to charge. I've been driving electrically for 10 years, and I have plugged into DC fast chargers maybe 10 times, once a year. There's plenty of chargers for what we need right now. Now, this gets back to my cell phone analogy. I'm an early adopter of technology. You know, I had a Sony Betamax in 1970.
I did too. I'm embarrassed to admit that, but yes, I did.
Did the clock blink noon, 12 o'clock?
Yes, it did.
You know it. And
Yeah.
then actually, I think it had those flipping things, you know.
Yeah.
So but, it was that long ago. I bought a CD player when there were almost no CDs to put in the thing. So when it came time for mobile phones, I thought, I got to have one of these. I mean, at that time, I was in software sales. I was on the road all the time, and it would have been really convenient to be able to do business from the car. Well, back then, the form factor was this giant purse you had to have on your shoulder because of the
Remember
battery.
it well. Yep.
With a headset or a handset connected to that.
Yep.
So, and the bill was maybe $300 a month for service.
Yikes.
Now, when I drove from Houston or from Dallas down to Houston, about a 4-hour drive, about 3 hours of that time, there was no cell phone connection. What a stupid idea. We can't, mobile phones are never going to make it in this country because we don't have enough cell phone towers.
Well, that doesn't
As
seem to
we
be the
bought
problem.
More cell phones, we've built more cell phone towers. What do you think's going to happen with chargers? I wonder.
Yeah.
The federal government just gave Texas $410 million to increase the number of chargers we have. I'm a board member with TxETRA, the Texas Electric Transportation Resources Alliance. We've been working on the infrastructure charging roadmap for years now, and the state has adopted most of our suggestions. So in the very near future, and I'm talking next 2 to 5 years max, along the major highways of Texas, there will be DC fast charging every 50 miles. We've got to quit making the analogy to gas stations. There will never be, in my opinion, the number of chargers that there are gas stations. And when you see number of chargers, some of those chargers have 2 or 3 plugs on them. So you got to multiply the numbers you were talking about by 2 or 3 to see how many cars can actually be serviced. But with the 800-volt system that's, say, in the Ioniq 5 or the Kia EV6, you can fill up in 18 minutes on a DC fast charger, but it's still expensive to do that. If I charge at home, I'm getting the dollar equivalent, depending on the price of gas at the time, anywhere from 100 to 135 miles per gallon if I charge at home. If I charge at a DC fast charger, that's going to drop down to about the equivalent of 30 or 35 miles per gallon. So it is important for everybody to realize, yes, it's great to have DC fast charging. We need it for cross-country trips, but most of the time, you're not going to use it.
Well, that goes back to our discussions about range anxiety. I mean, there's
What's that?
well, I mean, but people have that and they worry about it, and whether they really have an issue with it or not. The idea that, okay, I know I'm going from Beaumont to Houston. I know there's a charger over there at Buc-ee's, and so I could get that far at least. Whether I really need to stop there or not, it's just that peace of mind.
Mindset, yeah.
Yes.
And one of the other things I see with the numbers you're saying, Don, and I kind of have to look at it, with 100,000 population, there's 19% or 18% of the chargers. Right. Not everybody in that 100,000 group owns an EV.
That's true.
So you have to look at it that way, too.
That's the point that we were trying to make. All right, well, let's...
With that Inflation Reduction Act, I hate the way Congress names bills, but the second infrastructure bill, that came up with a lot of money for all the states, and even the states that have kind of resisted funding anything that has to do with those damn liberals and electric vehicles. They're getting on board for this because it's finally happening that the politicians are realizing something else. It's that, holy cow, the other side of this infrastructure bill is forcing companies to open manufacturing facilities in the United States. Kia's already announced, because they wouldn't get any of the federal income tax credit because their cars aren't built in North America, they're about to employ a whole bunch of our fellow citizens at a factory here in the United States building cars. And they would have never done that if it hadn't been for this bill. We're looking at lithium mining taken off in the United States. In the past, and I saw a battery expert on this, the United States didn't really need lithium as much as, say, China does. China's cranking out EVs and they're cranking out battery packs, and so is South Korea. So they have most of the contracts for the lithium worldwide. Well, think of lithium as the new oil. It's going to be the resource that we're all competing for. And we have a lot of it in the United States. And we just have to start going after it. But the deal is we've never had a reason. We always had China build our batteries. Well, it's time we started doing that here, and we started using our own citizens as the employees for those companies instead of subsidizing foreign countries.
Here, here.
All right, so I want to switch gears here because we don't have all day. I know that. I know that you could do that, but I just wanted to interject something else. One of the stories from Automotive News this week: electric truck stops will need as much power as a small town. Next month, Tesla plans to deliver the first of its electric semi-trucks able to haul a full 40-ton load, some 500 miles on a single charge. That's impressive. These massive batteries on wheels may accelerate the transition to electrified transport, but those responsible for delivering the power are starting to ask, are we ready for this? Probably not, according to the article, and according to a sweeping new study of highway charging requirements conducted by utility company National Grid PLC. Researchers found that by 2030, electrifying a typical highway gas station will require as much power as a professional sports stadium, and that's mostly just. I know this is you can say you're such a naysayer, Armstrong. Well, I'm not trying to be. I don't know anything about this, and I rely on you. And I know that I make fun of you all the time about this, but you know it's just in jest because we all know that this is coming. But I mean, do people actually think about this? You know, as far as trucks, for instance, heavy trucks, where are they going to get power along the road? Because, you know, some of those heavy haul trucks will do 500 miles on a tank of diesel.
Actually, it's interesting you mention this because I just spoke to somebody within the last 3 days that showed me a patented device that fits on these electric trucks, and it almost looks like the nose cone of a spacecraft. You know how you've got the inverted cone and the thing you're going to dock with, and
yes,
it kind of guides the spaceships together.
We're familiar with that, yes.
Okay. Well, being in Houston, I would hope so.
Yeah.
I grew up there, and I'm proud that it's Space City. But anyway, backing up into the loading dock, this probe will go into this very high, and we're talking megawatt speed chargers, not kilowatts anymore. It'll plug in, and while they're unloading and loading that truck, it will completely refill.
Completely. Wow. Talk about a fast charge.
Talk about a probe.
Yes. And that was stunning to me to hear that. There's also companies that are making inductive chargers for trucks. So let's say they pull into a Buc-ee's parking lot to sleep overnight. Their truck just pulls over this pad. There's a thing on the dashboard that shows them when they're centered over it correctly. And then they go to sleep. And the car, without plugging in or anything, just using magnetic waves, charges that battery. And the truck driver wakes up the next day to start driving again, and he's got an absolutely full battery ready to go.
How much for
the grid is going to be stressed? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We've got to improve our grid. We've got to improve security on our current grid because we've got foreign hackers that are trying to get in to disrupt our society. But the number of electronic devices in our homes over the last century has gone up dramatically because we didn't have much electricity 100 years ago. Well, guess what? It's going to keep growing dramatically. If we replace gasoline with electricity, that just, where's the electricity going to come from? So we are going to have to modernize the grid. The infrastructure, the second infrastructure bill, I think, put $35 billion out there for modernizing and securing our grid. Again, it's just like the cell phone towers. The grid of today isn't ready for 300 million, and that's the number of vehicles in the entire fleet of the United States. 300 million vehicles. We're not ready for that. Just like, oddly, when cell phones came out, we just didn't have the towers for these things. So, what are we going to do?
Yeah, and in some places we still don't have the towers.
It's not a crisis. It's an opportunity. When we went to the moon, the engineers in mission control used wooden slide rules to do their calculations. Now, today, for $10, you can get you can probably get a free credit card size charger in the mail, as a bonus gift for getting a credit card or something. And that has more compute power than they were able to do with those slide rules. And we went to the moon in 1969. So all these limitations that people throw out is insulting to me as an American. You're saying we can't step up to this? That is BS.
Well,
we are going to do this. When consumers get into these cars, and I'm about to tell you about this, when consumers get into these cars, it's a life-changing event. I just saw a presentation that Consumer Reports did, and they had 4 different levels of the understanding of EVs. Now, get this, the highest level of understanding that the consumer had that they were polling on this was the equivalent of a 16-year-old driver's permit holder. They may have driven their family car a couple of times, ridden it quite a few times, but the bottom line is very little experience. Well, if you go from not knowing anything about EVs in the general population, people that said they would never, ever buy one was a huge number. The people who said that they would probably consider it, but not for their next car, was another huge number. And I think we're talking, I had this down, but maybe 27%, something like that, would be actually in favor of looking at an EV. After getting in one or two times and driving it, that number jumped to 88%. That would either be open to it for their next EV, they were definitely going to buy an EV as their next car, became 88% just by riding or driving 1-2 times. So as people get inducted into these cars, they are going to be changed by that experience. And the other thing Consumer Reports said that was really an eye-opener, and I wish I had thought of this, because it actually is true in my life. Do you remember the first time you saw a flat screen high-definition television display running? I do. I walked into Fort Worth's Marvin Electronics. They're out of business now, but at one time, this was the high-end stereo and video store in the Fort Worth area, and I would go there to buy all of my equipment. I walked in one day, and they had this big screen, flat TV, and I just stopped dead in my tracks, and it was like an aerial shot landing in the Caribbean somewhere, and it was the most beautiful television picture I ever saw. Well, what the guy from Consumer Reports said, when people saw these TVs, they were $10,000 a piece. How many of us can afford a $10,000 TV? It's probably like a $100,000 EV. A lot of people think, well, that's out of my price range. But what happened, according to the Consumer Reports guy, is those people never bought a tube TV again. They knew they couldn't afford the flat screen TV. There wasn't a lot of high definition programming out there, but they had seen the future. They had seen what they wanted, and they said, you know what? I'm not investing in that old technology anymore. I'm going to wait till the price gets to what I can afford, and I'm going to get one.
But Buzz, that to me right there is really the biggest problem with all this. You know, you're talking about the consumer. The consumer says, I see what I want, and I know what I want. This is not quite like that. We've got mandates coming down from high above that says you will stop selling new gasoline cars by a certain date and time, whether we've got infrastructure or not. I mean, this is not consumer driven. I agree that as people get educated, they're going to feel more like it. They're going to do more about it. But this is not a consumer-driven product like you're talking about with the cell phones and the TVs, the flat screen. This is being very mandated, and I think that's where it's screwed up.
Let's get real about mandates. Mandates mean nothing. Nothing. If in 2035, California citizens don't want to buy electric vehicles, it doesn't matter what Newsom did. It doesn't matter that they passed this law. They will vote those people out of office. They'll vote people into office that will let them have their gas cars, and they'll go on. What's going to make the change is not mandates. It's always driven by consumers. And that's what, it's one thing to paint this vision. John F. Kennedy did it with the moon landings. He set the goal that by the end of the decade, we were going to land on the moon. That's an inspirational way to move people forward. But we are so split in this country right now politically that there is no more inspirational leadership.
I agree, but I feel like there is a difference between setting a goal. This is the goal. We want this goal. This is where we need to go. Versus you will go there whether you like it or not. To me, there's a difference.
Right. you're absolutely right. People will dig their heels in. We're Americans. We're supposed to be free. How dare you tell me what I'm going to drive? Now, the fact is, I honestly believe things are going to ramp up much faster than that. I think that we've reached the tipping point. The pickup trucks are here. The big SUVs, like the ones from Vietnam and VinFast, I've seen them in person. They are the SUVs that Americans want. It looks like something the size of a Chevy Tahoe, and it's 100% electric, and it'll go 250, 300 miles on a charge. That's what they're all waiting for, is vehicles like that. And they are about to hit our shores, and they're going to be incredibly popular.
Hey, let me interject here because we're running a little tight on time. Porsche accelerating toward a greener future with the arrival of its first electric crossover, a battery-powered Macan that will pack a big battery and output, more than 600 horsepower electric. Sportiest model in the segment, Porsche says. Software supplier issues have delayed its debut, but it's in the offing. Got that coming in early fall of 2023. So that's on the road. So if you're a Porsche file, then you got that. And these stories go on, and every week you get more and more EV stories that we're actually airing. And so it is the future.
Hey, you probably should hire a full-time consultant to be on the show with you all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody?
Do you know any? Hey, are we going to see you at the Houston Auto Show?
Autorama or Auto Show?
Auto Show.
I would have, before a couple of days ago, I would have said absolutely, but I just got approached by the National Auto Dealer Association to speak at their annual event, and it's the exact same weekend. I'm just horrified by this because I love being a host of the EV area. I've done it for 3 years at the Houston Auto Show. So I'm trying to work out a balance where I can still do the speech from the stage at the HAD or the NADA meeting, and then get my butt down to Houston and spend some time down there because it's such a great time.
It shouldn't be a problem with that jet-fueled aircraft, private aircraft that you will have hired for you and fly you from coast to coast wherever it is.
I think he's got a hot air
I'm
balloon.
hoping the president sends Air Force One to pick me up and take me
Or
down
John
there.
Kerry can send his jet.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah.
Buzz, it's always great to talk to you,
Wait,
my friend.
one thing real quick.
All right.
I've known absolutely nothing, and this is the reason I have the background I have today. I know almost nothing about electric bicycles. In fact, to me, they seem to be the stupidest thing because starting about 35 years ago, I started bicycling to stay healthy. For me, it's about the workout. It's not about just cruising around looking at, pretty trees and flowers.
Yeah.
But my wife actually was the smart one again. And she came up to me and said, you want me to ride bikes with you, but you've been riding like this for 35 years. So I can't keep up with you and you can't go slow enough for me. What if we got an electric bike where it assisted the pedaling? And I found out most electric bikes have 5 different levels of battery assist. So one of our neighbors had bought 2 electric bikes. They loved them so much, they moved up to higher end electric bikes, and they were selling theirs at about half the list price. So they had 2 of them. I thought, let's go take a look. And by the time I got there, they'd sold one, and I test rode the other one. And I thought, this is going to be perfect for my wife. And we went ahead and bought it. And within 2 weeks, I got another one for me. Mine's more of a mountain bike with the 4-inch big knobby tires, front suspension, but it's similar pedal assist. Top speed's about 28 miles per hour. It's about 45 miles of range. It just arrived, so it's disassembled in a box in my garage. But I'm going to be doing a series on my blog about what I'm learning about electric bicycles as I'm going along. And I'm actually pretty excited about it. I think that my wife will be able to slowly reduce the amount of assist the bike is getting her, so she builds up her stamina to the level of mine. And then we can ride traditional bicycles or electric bikes when we want an easier ride, and can, hopefully live a healthy old age on these bicycles. So stay tuned for this. I'll be writing a lot of
I'm really interested. Look at
I
those.
can see you right now that you are actually transforming into the next Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, but you can't do that riding side saddle.
What's sad is at one point, when I went through my divorce, and I needed to find a way to be attractive to women, I hired a personal trainer to get into shape and everything. And after a month or 2 of her working with me, she said, "You're never going to be bulked up like Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's 2 types of muscles, and one of them is lean and strong, and that's the Lance Armstrong model. And she actually said, your muscle type is the Lance Armstrong type, so you're never going to bulk up, but you will have stamina.
Well, we all got fat heads around here, so.
Yeah,
I can bulk up around the waist.
Thing. I got to drive the BMW i4 M50 electric vehicle.
How was it?
Oh, my God. I've been driving electrically for 10 years, and when I punched the accelerator on this thing, it scared the crap out of me.
Really?
So if you haven't test driven one of these guys, go do it. Go do it. It was so cool.
We're going to tell him. You're going to tell him you sent us. Buzz, it's always great to talk to you. Thank you, my friend. Take care of yourself. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you at the beginning of the year.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys too.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
EV wonder, Mr. Buzz Smith. Yeah. All right. Speaking of one-hit wonders, we had promised that we were going to get to one-hit muscle car wonders, but we're running a little bit behind.
Well, I see that. Yep.
Why don't we do that maybe in the next segment?
Yeah, we can.
Is that okay with you?
We'll do it in the fourth hour.
Yeah. Have you driven an electric car?
No, I have not.
You need to.
Well, wait. Yes, I have.
Have you?
Short distance. Yeah, maybe 30 feet, something like that.
Oh, no. No. I'm talking about, at least 30 minutes on the road somewhere.
No.
Tons of fun.
Yeah, it really is.
The acceleration is truly remarkable. Yeah. And, me being the drag racing nut that I am, it's all about acceleration. And, oh, my gosh. It's not a top fuel dragster, but
I'll
tell you what,
it will push you back in the seat, though.
Big time. Yeah. Yeah. And take the hair right off the top of your head.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Is that what happened to you, Jeff?
Yeah, I drove an EV.
The N Wheel Time Car Talk Show streams on the iHeart app, Facebook, YouTube, and NWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on your favorite podcast channel all through the week. The N Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston, America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George R. Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics, and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, JDM, and luxury cars, plus music and models on the celebrity stage presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration. Meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InWheelTimeCarTalk.
Drinking his coffee.
Hello there. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. This segment, Randy Borcherding from Paint House and the SEMA Corvette Experience. Conrad will have the In Wheel Time Car Clinic via Zoom, we hope, from the Pelosiville estate. And we'll also take a look at this week's automotive news. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this rainy Saturday here in Houston, Texas. This is our live show. It airs, if you're listening to it on a podcast, our live show airs every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Time. And let me just do this.
That makes sense because today's Saturday.
Let me just say this. It is. But did you miss the podcast part of my...
I heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're listening on a podcast, our live show is Saturday mornings, 8 to 11.
Right, which is Saturday.
This podcast that you're listening to is probably not on a Saturday.
It's going to be a Monday. The second half hour is Monday.
Well, you're in charge of keeping track of that.
Write that down.
He's in charge.
Okay, I'm writing it down.
Yeah, do that. Well, at any rate, thank you for that.
Clearing it up.
Yeah. I think you've been smoking something before
Are you
got
filling
here,
in for
but-
Conrad? Is that what the deal is?
You know, I could. Let me sit over here.
No, you couldn't.
Oh, boy.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Paint House Studios, I guess in Houston, Texas, ladies and gentlemen, it's Randy Borcherding. Randy, it looks like you've lost a little more hair, my friend.
Uh-oh.
Ain't got much left to lose, buddy.
Well, did the SEMA experience just kind of get rid of all the rest of it?
You know, actually, this year was the easiest get in and get out of SEMA we've ever had. It was
Wow.
from my trailer parked a half a mile away to sitting in the booth we were in 30 minutes.
Wow.
And back out the same. That has never happened before. I've sat in parking lots for 12, 14 hours before with the vehicle waiting to get in. This year was completely different, and dang, I hope it stays that way.
Well,
So I can't blame that on.
Were you just
can't blame
closer?
hair loss on that?
Were you just closer to the door to get out and in?
Nope, not at all. It was just a.
They
I
streamlined
don't
the
know,
process.
The stars lined up. I just hit the timing right. They made it better. Maybe all of the above, but it was awesome.
Well, I will assume that that's the car that you took right there behind you, because you have to remember last time that we spoke, that car was not in that shape.
Yeah. In fact, we've taken it back apart just to finish up a few little things, not apart, but a few little things that weren't quite ready for the show, which don't need to be ready for the show, like an alignment and Freon in the system, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. Now, that car doesn't belong to you, does it?
No, sir. No, it belongs to a local customer. Great guy. This is the one. I don't know if you recall the story. I'm going to flip this around. It had been wrecked. He bought it at Barrett Jackson 2 years ago, I think. As soon as it got home, his first test drive, he wrecked it pretty bad.
Oh, boy.
It probably should have been totaled just based on dollar cost of the repairs. But the insurance company wanted it fixed and felt like it could be fixed, and it is now. But I'm not sure I would have fixed it having known what he brought to me in the beginning.
Well, what was damaged on the car? Everything?
Well, kind of. The whole front end had to be replaced. The frame was bent and had to be replaced, and it's an aftermarket chassis. The engine had to be taken apart and examined because one of the casting ears was cracked. So I wanted to make sure there was no engine damage. I mean, they had to go all the way in that deep into the car. And with him throwing in some of his money, he got this much better interior. We've upgraded the engine a little. So it's a combination of the insurance repair and him contributing. But nonetheless, this car is somewhat of a miracle in that sense. It probably shouldn't have been built.
And
here it is.
What booth did you show the car in?
We were in SATA. It's SATA. They're the premier paint gun company in the world, and kind of goes with what we do, obviously.
Yeah.
and they're a fairly high profile spot. We got a lot of traffic and a lot of photographs taken and publicity, and that's what it's all about.
Now, is that Randy Apple Red?
This is called Viking Blood.
I knew there was something about
Viking Blood.
Yeah.
Now, could you or would you mix that color for me if I wanted my car that color?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Or I'll make you your own. How about that?
But yes, or that. I
We'll
don't
call
have
it. We'll do a blue and call it Smurf Blood.
That's perfect. What motor does that car have in it?
It is the LS7, which would have normally been a dry sump engine. We
Oh boy.
removed the dry sump system. It was kind of unnecessary for this thing, and it was a packaging problem in the engine bay. So we had it converted to a wet sump, traditional oil pan.
How difficult was that to make the conversion?
We didn't do it in-house. A local company, LME, which is Late Model Engines, did it for us. They're really good with these modern powertrains and making them drivable. But if you want a 3,000 horsepower top speed, Texas mile car, they'll do that too.
Man, this clearly is not that.
No,
do you know what
this
kind
is
of horsepower this one has?
I'd say 550 maybe.
Okay.
It's just maybe 600. It's a nice driver. We didn't reinvent the wheel with this engine or this car for that matter.
Did you put an
It's just
automatic transmission in it?
No, sir. It's a 5-speed Tremec.
Okay,
So you get to shift gears as you would expect.
right.
A local Texas upholstery shop did the interior for us. So, for example, all of this back here is 3D printed.
Wow, you're kidding.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the sound system packaged in there, the dash, the AC vent right there.
Yeah.
Came out of a '69 Camaro. These cars didn't have a vent dash
That's
like that.
true. They didn't. That was just blank.
It has right there is a mag, one of the MagSafe car phone chargers. So you just
Very cool.
set your phone in there. You can look at your Google Maps or play your music through the sound system, whatever you want. So
Sweet.
it's a nice blend of old technology or new technology and old styling.
What do you call the color of the interior, Randy, and why did you select that?
Well, not to be sarcastic, it's brown. I don't know what the name of the leather is,
Okay.
but we just
Ow.
chose it based on the paint color. And when you see it in person, you can't tell in this video, but in person, it's got some reddish tones in it
Hues.
that complement the red. So it was just a good match. You just pull out the samples and find the ones that look best.
Interesting.
And it's got an interesting little
pattern in
insert material.
Yeah, I
It
see
gives
that.
a little contrast, kind of retro. Kind of reminds me of my grandmother's sofa back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
So in the
But-
booth, I was going to say,
Go
in the
ahead.
booth, did you win any awards with it when it was in your booth?
No,
Was it being
not
judged?
this year. This year we didn't. One of the requests that the booth company we were with, SATA, had was that the car in their booth would not be entered in the Battle of the Builders, which is fine. I'm not certain this thing would have. This is not a revolutionary car, so would it have done well in the Battle of the Builders? Maybe, maybe not. But it was also fun to park it in the booth and go enjoy SEMA, which I don't often get to do.
What did you take away from SEMA this year? Other than freebie giveaways, I'm not referring to that. Just as far as state of the art stuff, where is the custom car industry going?
Well, the electric thing is certainly there. As your previous guest said, it's coming, and his enthusiasm is interesting. I don't know that I share his optimism, quite honestly, but it's coming, and the performance can't be denied. So there were a lot of vehicles electric and a lot of older vehicles converted to electric. And it's interesting to see a 55 Chevy truck. You open the hood and the engine bay is quite honestly empty. And way down on the cross member is an electric motor tied to a transmission that, an automatic or even a manual these days where you can shift gears and have an electric motor.
Oh, wow. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but okay.
I guess for the experience,
Yeah.
perhaps. Something else that kind of made me giggle, I think, is that there's a company making a sound system that you can put under like the rear bumper of your EV and create car sounds. So if you want your Tesla to sound like
exhaust sounds,
if you want your Tesla to sound like this Corvette, I guess you can record it, or maybe it comes with pre-recorded sounds. I didn't really investigate it.
Well, that's
much,
one of those things that Stellantis with the Dodge brand that they have already debuted, and their new electric Challenger and Charger are going to be able to make those sounds.
I think Lexus does too.
If that's what you want, then you hit the button.
Let's be honest about it. Us car guys, that's one of the things we miss about this upcoming technology is it doesn't sound like a car.
Right. Yeah, that's a big part of it. It's kind of like the new tires that don't squeal when you spin them. Back in the day, they would squeal. Now they just spin. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And smoke.
Yeah.
One of the other things that was just odd was that Ford wasn't there, GM wasn't there, Honda wasn't there. So a lot of the major players weren't there.
Why not? Why weren't they there?
I don't have a clear-cut answer. My guess is, I hate to put it this way, but they don't really have anything to sell that we can get our hands on right away.
Well, wait a minute. I think, is it Chrysler that has Ford? I know.
Chrysler was there.
Chrysler was there. Well, I know that Ford has an electric motor package that they're selling over the counter.
Yeah, but that's just
true.
The motor doesn't even come with controllers.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. It doesn't come with a controller yet, anyway.
But if you want a GM LS3 crate motor, good luck getting it right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're out of stock, at least through my suppliers. You might stumble into one, but they don't have them like they did a year and a half ago.
Interesting. Wow. Is everybody snapping them up?
I'm theorizing. I don't really know. I'm sure it's budgetary. I know they spend millions of dollars to be there, and perhaps it's just a budgetary thing. I'm speculating.
Yeah, because everything that I've read that they're making more money than they ever have.
Yeah, it makes sense though.
Even despite the fact that they are not making the number of cars that they used to. But if you've looked at the price of cars, particularly like the one that I'm currently driving, I mean, it's a brand new car, but it's old school. It's a Toyota 4Runner, and they're asking $50,000 for it, and it's a stripper. It doesn't even have things like automatic headlights. And you have to turn the headlights on.
To the thing about General Motors not being there in a budgetary thing, they're only projecting profits. They don't have the profits yet. They're actually projecting them, and that's 2 years down the road. So they're still manufacturing, and if they're not there, then they're probably working on something else for that projected profit.
I think it boils down to money they were going to have to spend, products they don't have in warehouses to sell at the moment, and bringing in vehicles that, quite honestly, 100,000 hot rodders don't really want.
There's a point. Exactly.
Yep.
So was every square inch of Las Vegas Convention Center filled to capacity as it usually is?
I'd say so. I mean, they have to stretch a few things out to fill space, but it was quite a bit busier than last year. I think international travel had a lot to do with that. It's a significant percentage. I don't know the number, but there's a lot of foreigners that come to SEMA, and last year they couldn't. So this year, the people count was up, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so let's just shift gears here with you and Paint House. Now that you've got that car pretty much finished, what's on the agenda for you?
Well, I'll flip this around again and show you real quick.
Here we go.
So we still got this Cougar we're buttoning up.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
70 Cougar. It's got the 4.6 Terminator motor. Came in
my gosh.
The 04 Cobra Mustangs. It's
man.
Not the current Coyote drivetrain, but it's interesting, makes a lot of power, and it looks pretty cool in the engine bay.
Yeah.
Over here, this is just, I'm going to call it a quickie, but we found this Ranchero out at Bear Brakes in Arizona, a customer bought it, and it's got, here we're talking about technology, but that is an electric brake booster that would come on a Tesla or a Chevy Volt. that kind of thing.
Wow.
So we're now, and as I understand it, this is our first use of it, but I'm told it just makes for spectacular braking performance.
That's a hybrid.
Where a lot of these hot rods don't have great brakes.
Well, they certainly didn't from the factory, and
Yeah,
I guess the
but
latest.
even things like this, for example, we've got a vacuum booster tucked in there, and bare brakes on it. It'll be okay. But if you want to run manual brakes, which a lot of these hot rods do, you just don't get the braking performance and that positive pedal feel that you get out of good power brakes and that we're all used to.
Right. Yeah.
So you get in one of these after you've been driving your F-350 dually that stops on a dime like a race car did 30 years ago, and the brakes don't feel as nice, and they should. Yeah. So these electric brakes, I'm told, will remedy that, and I'm anxious to find out.
Yeah, you have to let us know how that goes.
So the Corvette that was wrecked, did it have the old brakes on it, or that could be a reason why it was crashed?
It has a system called Hydro Boost, which uses the power steering pump to provide the braking assist.
Right.
It's all tucked up in the fender over there, and it has fantastic brakes. So Hydro Boost works. In fact, at times it can work too well. It can provide a very sensitive pedal if you haven't set it up properly. And I wonder if that wasn't part of why this car had a wreck, is that the brakes are very responsive. And perhaps he accelerated and then tapped the brakes and wasn't expecting what happened, and then it just went out of control. Again, speculating, but it's possible.
So do you have any other?
This one is a different system altogether.
Do you have people waiting outside the garage door to get in to the Paint House massage parlor over there? Because that's what you guys do to these cars. I mean, you massage them to these incredible beauties out there.
We do have folks that are wanting to bring projects in. As you can tell by me walking around, we don't have a lot of room. This is my house garage, which is also part of our workspace. The building is across the yard, 100 yards away.
Yeah.
So we're packed, and that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. How's Jen?
She's awesome. She went out to find breakfast. I told her I couldn't go, so I hope she brings me something. She may or may not. Depends on if she likes me today.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's great to talk to you as always, and congratulations on another beautiful build there. So when are you going to have that thing out of the garage? Next week?
Not that quick. A couple weeks. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. And
time for the customer to come drive it for the second time and keep it between the curbs.
Yeah. No doubt. Randy, it's great talking to you. If anybody ever is interested in a paint job, he's the guy to go to.
It's not just a paint job.
No, it's not. It's more than that. But it's Paint House. That's the name of the company, and Randy does such a great job, and award-winning paint jobs, and obviously customization and all the other things that go along with top-end cars. Randy, again, thank you very much, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good day.
You do the same.
Thanks, sir.
We'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Is Conrad with us?
No, sir.
Okay. So we're not going to do his car clinic. I know that you just forgot to tell me that, right? He doesn't even answer anymore.
We're not going to do the car clinic.
Okay.
Oh, I just heard it.
I'll tell you. Speaking of which, why don't you, Jeff, if you don't mind, let's do the one-hit muscle car wonders.
I'm going to try to do the video and talk at the same time.
You know, it's kind of like playing the drums and singing. You do that all the time.
I don't sing.
Yeah, use your foot for the video, and then use your...
Yeah, it's a good point. There's nothing down there. Anyways, this is what we got. These are one-hit wonders. 1-year production cars is what they are. So the automobile industry, every year, new technologies, new regulations, things change. And it's a matter of what they want to do and how they want to do it. So the first one we have is a Chevrolet Chevelle, and this rascal is a Z16. Obviously, Chevrolet no longer makes the Chevelle. In its heyday, the Chevelle was the proper American muscle car. In 1965, it was responsible for releasing the Z16. Powering the Chevelle is a 396 horsepower V8 engine Along with the engine, you get a 4-speed gearbox. That'd be nice.
Was it a 396 motor?
It's 396 horsepower.
This is
No, I know that, but I'm
Right.
asking how many cubic inches was it?
That doesn't say, but it's 396 on the horsepower
Okay.
with a 4-speed gearbox.
Odd.
They only made 200 of these.
Really?
That
Could have been
year.
a 427.
Could have been, but it's
I
not
never
in the
heard of
information.
that.
It's not in the information. So,
I'll be darned.
yeah. And then the next one we have here for 1-year production is the Plymouth AAR CUDA. AAR stands for All
It's a
American
CUDA.
Racing. It's a CUDA. And it's red. It looks good. Now, I don't know if you notice on that picture, the folks
CUDA.
that the exhaust in front of the rear wheels. I had that exhaust on my Nova.
You did.
I did.
Did you put it on there? Or did you have it put on?
I had it put on. I put the headers on myself, and had the exhaust put on. But that was very cool. And the AAR translates into, it was a Trans Am Championship, and it was for the All American Racing, and that's how they got that the moniker, the nomenclature for it. The car had a 340 horsepower V8, a brilliant package design with the color on it. And in terms of the numbers, they made 2,724 of these in that year. So that was pretty cool. It made a little bit more than the Chevelle, obviously.
But 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year run. If I flip my page. So the next one is a Ford Mustang Boss 351. Now, this is like the epitome.
A Cleveland.
The big daddy of them all. The Boss 351. It's one of the rarest production models that they made. The graphics package is iconic to the Mustang for Ford Motor Company. They fine-tuned a regular engine to produce 330 horsepower that year, and it's one of the most sought-after collector vehicles. They only made 1,800 of these, which I thought was very, very
What year
cool.
is it?
It doesn't say the
Oh.
year, but it was a 1-year production run.
It looks like 68, 69.
It reminds
69.
me of a Javelin.
Does it?
Well, a little. I
Yeah,
guess.
maybe, kind of, sort of. But it's moving on to the Chevrolet Corvette Stingray Z06. Now, back in the day, the Z06 it was a package during the first generation of the Stingray. It's a rarity. There's not many out there. The number of differences from the original: the car was lighter back then. It was sturdier. It had a better suspension and a more robust engine for that year.
Matter of fact, one of my magazines has a 63 convertible that's serial number 003.
Oh, wow.
And it's the earliest one of the C2 Corvette that is known to exist. And the speculation was, well, whatever happened to number 1 and number 2?
Yeah.
And they think that they were both crashed in testing,
Oh,
that they did it on purpose.
Oh,
Because back then they didn't have pre-production cars, and they made the car and then they crashed it.
pull one off the
correct.
assembly
Parted it
line
out,
as it comes
parted it
out.
out.
Yep.
I'll
So
be
the
darned.
next one is a Dodge Charger Daytona. It ranked highly among the list of American muscle cars for a good reason. Back in '69, Dodge wanted to create a car that would compete with the NASCAR boys. So the Dodge,
And they
the
killed
Charger Daytona was the result. This car there. Brilliant looking vehicle. And if you're trying to get your hands on one, good luck, because there aren't very many around anymore. And the next one we have is a Shelby GT500 KR. KR, Mike, stands for King of the Road, not Conrad. So just make sure you know that.
Conrad. I like it.
So Carroll Shelby was the one that had the special project for the KR, powered by a 428 Cobra Jet engine, which produced 400 horsepower. Not only was the KR powerful, but it was also full of luxury designs on the interior. And the last one for my friend Conrad DeLong. Here you go, buddy. It's an Oldsmobile Rally 350. If you're listening, Conrad owns this vehicle. Not this particular one, but he owns one. The 70s were not an excellent time for the muscle cars. New regulations coming out limited the automobile manufacturers. The Rally 350 was Oldsmobile's attempt to get around some of these regulations. In the single year of production, Conrad, they only made 3,547 of the vehicles, and it was a small block V8 producing 310 horses.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ta-da.
Thank you so
you
much.
bet.
Big story this week is, Jay Leno suffering burns in his garage. Yeah. Longtime auto enthusiast taken to Grossman Burn Center after his face was burned in his Los Angeles garage when one of his cars burst into flames. It happened to have been a white steam car. Now, the car was not white. That was the name of the car.
The brand, right.
The brand was white. Left side of former Tonight Show host face was burned, but Leno's eye and ear were not severely damaged. Leno confirmed in a statement, "I got some serious burns from a gasoline fire. I'm okay. Just need a week or two to get back on my feet. It's going to be longer than that." From the latest that I read and saw in the news just recently, that it's going to take him a while. He has undergone surgery once. That was confirmed, and the doctor said that he's going to have to go through another surgery, skin grafts and stuff like that.
His friend Jeff Allen, Tim Allen, was there to visit him in the hospital, and there was like a pseudo photo. His arms are bandaged. He was in like one of those hyperbaric chambers for the skin.
Yeah.
So God bless him. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Because love his show.
Oh.
And personally, I would rather see him on his own show like this with the cars than on the Tonight Show. I mean, I was a fan of the Tonight Show, but
got over almost 200 cars in his
collection. Yeah.
Various steams and electric and all that.
Yeah, everything. And he's even got a Corvair in his collection.
God, that's pretty cool.
That was a Yenko Stinger.
Yep.
Corvair, and he's got one, and he likes the car.
You had a stinker.
I had a stinker. Yes, I did. It looked good, but it was a stinker. There's no doubt about that. Hey, we'd love to hear from you, and all you got to do is send us an email, info@nwheeltime.com, and you can make fun of us and tell us how bad it all is for you, and just give us a hard time in general.
Yeah, and to point out, if somebody wants to know about something like what I do on the like One Year Wonders, send me some information. I'll look it up and we'll discuss it.
Very good. All right. Time now for a quick break. We'll be back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston, America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George Hart Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, JDM, and luxury cars, plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration, meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama, November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts, part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Welcome to the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we talked to Craig Moe about Texas Toot.
What?
Use your imagination. Mars reviews the Kia Niro. That's not N-E-R-O, it's N-I-R-O.
So,
The fires are burning.
yeah, I was thinking that.
Plus, we'll have the events calendar, and later we'll talk to Woodlands High School aficionado out there. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not because it's supposed to be a cruise in today. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
Maybe it's not raining up there, but it's pouring
it's
here.
47 degrees, dark, nasty, chilly,
All that.
all that.
Well, howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong is out today. We need more. Jeff Zekin is here, and I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this rainy Saturday morning here in the Houston area. And joining us right now is a fellow by the name of Mr. Craig Moe. He's the owner and builder of Texas Toot. Craig, good morning to you.
How y'all doing?
Well, we're doing just fine, thank you, and thanks for joining us this morning. We have to ask you, what is Texas Toot?
Texas Toot is just a home-built project, something I go mudding in and burnout contests, street crews, car shows, just something to have fun in.
Well, the only thing that I can recognize about Texas Toot is the body of some sort of looks like a foreign pickup truck. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. It's a Japanese cab over truck. It's right-hand drive and everything.
Oh, wow.
So what is it exactly?
It's called a AutoZam Scrum. AutoZam was made by Mazda. And then, as far as I know, I don't believe that AutoZam's still around anymore.
And what year is that? Because that looks like a 60s style.
It's a 1992.
No, I only missed it by 30 years. What the hell?
What the hell?
Yeah,
A little bit.
1992. Well, I have to tell you that it is truly eye-catching, to say the least. What size are the wheels on this thing?
So I made the wheels by hand out of some tractor barrels, and they are 30 by 15.
30 by 15. Well, they're huge.
Yes,
and yeah. Now, did you cut those tires yourself?
I had the centers cut out with a CNC machine,
Yep.
and I inset them and welded them all in myself on my shop floor.
You, sir, are a very talented man, because I don't know as if I could make a wheel that would be perfectly round.
Yeah.
It would be lopsided, and it would be a total mess. Well, it's quite a stunner. And did you build this for the Hot Wheels Legends Tour purposely? I mean, was that what you had in mind when you started building it?
No, sir. I actually just, like I said, I built it for myself to go have fun in. It took me a year and 8 months to build it.
Wow.
And it's been a kind of a dream of mine always to build some type of monster truck. I always go to monster truck shows as a kid, you know.
Right.
And mud bogging is fairly common down here. And so I figured I'd build me a giant monster truck, mud truck setup, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the pictures that you gave us, there's one iteration that you've got here that the thing is actually looks like it could be streetable because it's not so high up off the ground. So you've done some modifications to it, clearly.
Yes, sir. It's got 16-inch nitrogen shocks. I've only got them inflated to maybe about 6 inches off. So they got, another 10 inches of height I can get out of it. But it leaves me with a softer ride. And I do plan on having it street legal, hopefully here in the next couple months.
Really? So that you're working on getting it street legal. How cool is that? So it's got to have turn signals on it, brake lights, and all of the stuff that you need to get it inspected.
Yes, sir. I have trailer hitches for the front and rear of the truck, and I'm going to do a drop bracket for my headlights and taillights that'll tie into the factory setup. And then I just got to get some DOT tires, which Mickey Thompson makes some 58s that are DOT.
There you go.
So if I can get some of those, get the headlights, taillights down, I've already got a title and everything for it. It's 11'7" off the ground to the roof rack. So it's underneath that 14-foot height limit. and I can't go over 102 inches wide. So it's within, I think it's like 98 inches wide total. I'm within the legal limits.
My question is, where did the name come from?
The name?
Yeah.
I just wanted something, I guess, more or less to represent Texas. And then I have train horns on the back of it.
I see that. We're running pictures of it right now.
Give me 1 second. Can you kill the AC system? I can't quite hear. The train horns came off of a previous project, and that's why I had it mounted up on the bed of the truck, because I figured, why not have the biggest horn you can get on the smallest vehicle you can have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, and it works. I love the ladder frame. What kind of motor do you have in it?
That is a 454 that came out of a 72 El Camino SS.
Nice.
It's a 2-bolt main, and I had fully rebuilt it from the ground up.
Yeah. Have you put it on a dyno? You know how much kind of horsepower you've got on it?
No, sir. I've had a buddy of mine kind of help guide me through as far as the engine building process, because he's built quite a few of them, and he's had them dynoed. And I was told it's somewhere between the 600 and 700 horsepower range. That's before the 250 shot nitrous.
Oh my gosh! On a 2-bolt main, yeah, and you're still able to keep the thing together. Have you actually give it the shot of nitrous when it's under full acceleration?
Well, I've taken it to one mud bog so far, and the only part on that motor that I didn't rebuild myself was the rotating assembly, because it had, I was just adding on the heads and oil pan and cam and everything.
Right.
Well, I spun a bearing in my rotating assembly, so I hadn't had a chance to put nitrous on it, but now I got to rebuild the motor. Oh my! And I'm going to go ahead and build it up to a 496 now, and I'm working with the company to do a full blower setup on it now.
Nice. Yeah. Well, so let's talk about Hot Wheels. And this, I understand, is going to be a Hot Wheels car?
Yes, sir. It's going to be made into a 164 die-cast model. It will be available next fall.
Next fall. Well, congratulations, because I understand that's quite a process to have your car selected to be recreated as a Hot Wheels.
Yes, sir. Let's see. I think it was, dozens of shows across 16 countries, and they picked one winner out of each show, and it wound up being, was it 20? I want to say it was 24 contestants for semifinals. Then they picked 10 out of those 24 to go on to grand finals, and then they'll pick that one winner to be made to the Hot Wheels.
And how do you present the car in competition? I mean, do you have to physically take it somewhere, or do you send in pictures? How does that work?
I want to say they had some virtual ones, but most of them, they're all actually in person. Bring your vehicle out, show it. And the funny thing is about it, whenever I went to that show, I didn't realize how big of a deal it all was. Because for years, I've gone to car shows, and I just got done building the truck 2 weeks prior and had just got it out the shop. And I was like, well, I'll take it out to the Hot Wheels just so, kids can see it. Hot Wheels show up in Houston. Wind up winning, and then that's when I found out about the whole Hot Wheels Legends Tour. And it's just been a phenomenal just ride throughout the whole process. You know what I mean?
Yeah, wow. Exactly. Now, does Hot Wheels come through Houston frequently?
They've got members that are like from Houston and whatnot. They do shows all over the place, and it just so happened they had a competition that was going on in Houston, and that just happened to be the one I wound up showing up at. Wow. But as far as the Legends Tour, they're only going to tour at one location for that year. They're not going to keep going to that same location.
I see. So it's a moving kind of thing.
Correct. They're actually the largest touring car show around the world.
Wow.
Now, are you gonna be able to re-enter the show?
That I'm not sure of. I know once you win a show, I don't believe you're able to re-enter another show of that season. I'm not sure about the years following that. I'm sure you probably could.
Yeah, if you have another,
not all I know of it.
If you've created another vehicle, you probably could. What do you normally do for a living, Craig?
I'm actually a dock operator. I don't do any kind of fabrication process or any of that stuff for a living.
This is all a hobby, kind of like
wow.
thing.
Yeah,
it's just something on my days off.
Where did you pick up the skill to do this stuff? I mean, was your dad involved in customizations and builds and fabrication?
I mean, just growing up, I always did carpentry work here and there. I was always tinkering around with electronics and just building different things growing up. My dad taught me carpentry and taught me a little bit of mechanics and whatnot. And just as I got older, I just started learning more and more and YouTube what I could and go to people that have had previous experience doing things like as far as building mega mud trucks. Kind of have them guide me in the correct direction that I need to go in. You know what I mean? That's just the way it kind of fell. Like I said, I never had any experience bending tubing or I've had prior experience using stick welding, but I actually MIG welded the entire truck.
I find it fascinating. Do you go to car shows and get inspiration from other cars like most of us do?
Yeah, for the most part, I love going and seeing the creativity. No matter if it's a monster truck, a lowrider, a classic, just seeing the artistic ability of people to create something that nobody else has. And like I said, getting inspiration, like for me, was seeing the massive motors like in a NASCAR or something like that, or like a dragster, what I'm talking about. And so I've always wanted to have a massive motor, and so putting in the tiniest truck I could find just seemed perfect.
Yeah. Now, was it your concept that to do this ladder frame that you've got here?
Yes, sir. I just kind of winged the whole build. I have no blueprints on it. I just stuck a piece there, and I was like, man, that looks pretty good. So I just, mocked it up, and piece by piece, and everything just kind of fell out that way.
Well, you're very talented. And so are you coming over here to Autorama?
If it's this weekend
or it's
next weekend coming up?
It's Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah, it opens on Thanksgiving Day and runs through the weekend.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend due to my work schedule, working shift work.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year I will.
Well, you need to come out to Lupe Tortillas for the Christmas event. Christmas
the cruise
car show.
in.
The cruise in next month.
Yeah, next month.
17th.
Okay.
17.
Trailer it out, drive it out, bring it out.
Yeah, we'd love to see it, and it's a great. It's a great
if one of y'all want to send me a link to it, I'll look into it, and hopefully it falls on one of my scheduled days off, and I'll be able to attend.
Mr. Mars, it's up to you. You'll do that for him.
You can take Mike for a ride in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, you'll have to get an elevator to get him up there because
just a lift, a simple lift will work.
How do you get into the cab of it to drive it?
So I built a 3.5-foot lift. It's built off of it operates off of a 4-wheeler winch that just got the little wireless remote. And I built the step and everything, and it actually actuates a 3.5-foot height. So it comes down to about your kneecap area. Step up on it, grab onto the bedside, hit the button, it'll raise you all the way up to the cab.
There you go.
Ain't nothing hurting your knees.
It's like one of those going up the stair things.
Yeah. For handicapped people.
For us. Yeah,
for us. That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I am thoroughly impressed, and what a vision that you have. Do you watch any of those shows like Ian Roussel out in the desert that customizes the most bizarre things that you've ever seen in your entire life? You ever watch any of those?
No, sir. Unfortunately, I don't really watch much TV. All I do is work, and when I'm not working, I'm in my shop fabricating, designing something.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine the size of your shop. How in the world do you work on something that's 14 feet high?
Well, before I built the truck, I knew what I wanted to build as far as an off-road vehicle. And I didn't have a shop. All I got was a little carport. And I've had failed projects in the past due to the weather and hurricane floods we've had. So I hand-built a 16-foot wide by 48-foot long wooden building. It's got 12-foot walls. It's 14 feet to the peak with 10 by 10 doors front and rear. It took me a year to build that at home. Once I got done building that, that's when I went on the hunt for the Texas Toot car. That was bone stock when I got it.
Wow.
It was bone stock, so I assume that it had like a small 4-cylinder Japanese engine in it?
It had a 660cc motor, and they usually do around 30 horsepower.
And that's what powers his lift.
Yeah. There you go. Did you keep the motor? Do you still have it around?
I got rid of it a while back to somebody and, sold it off to somebody that needed a whole new drivetrain for their little mini truck.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, for those that are not watching this broadcast, I would encourage you to go to our website, and Mr. Mars will have the pictures up there because it's really something to see. Do you have a website or where we can see this Texas Toot?
I have a bunch of social media accounts. I recorded the entire build process. So I'm located on YouTube under Mo Made. Or if you just type in Texas Toot, it should bring up anything
Mo Made
related to Texas Toot.
That's MEAUX, Mo, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then MADE Made.
Yep. Okay. Well, very good.
And it's all over Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok also. Just type in Texas Toot, and it'll bring up everything. And you'll see the day-to-day process of just stuff I'm going on in my life right now with it, and just the start of the build too.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're very impressed, and impressed not only with the build, but with you. Very talented guy, and we encourage you to keep up the great work, and we're really anxious to see your next build.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be pretty neat.
Yeah, not the garage now. We're talking about something on four wheels, but, yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Something with an LS and tubbed out. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely going to have a different motor, but it won't be an LS. It'll be something nobody else has done yet.
There you go. Well, listen, the best of luck to you, and we hope to see you. If you can't make it for Thanksgiving to Autorama, then let's make a date and go to the Loopy Tortilla event called Tailpipes and Tacos on December 17th. We'd love to see you, man.
Okay, yeah, I'd love to be able to join.
All right. Craig Moe, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. He's
Thank
over
you,
there
sir.
in the Neaterville area.
Yep.
Wow, what a talented guy.
You got to have the talent. You got to have the time, patience.
And you got to have the vision.
That's
That's
it.
half the problem. You got to be able to visualize and say, "This is what I want to build." You know, that's really cool.
Yep.
Well, I'm not that talented.
But that's half the problem. Is
That's half your problem.
I can see it after somebody else has already done it, but doing it beforehand,
That's all of my problem. I
Well, it's
can't
like,
see anything.
It's like the paint house. What they do, they envision a color and they put all the different pigments into that to make a color. It's just.
I know.
Yeah.
A lot of talented people in the automobile business. It's a canvas that starts off usually as a blank canvas, and then you grab a car and you go, you know what? I think I'd like to paint it this color.
Yeah.
When I have always been one to steal other people's ideas
Why not?
then make it my own.
It's America.
It is America.
Now, when you were growing up and you did coloring, did you have the box of 64, or did you have the little pack, the little 16 pack, or the kind with the sharpener in the back?
It was somewhere in between there. Yeah, like a 32 pack of colors or something like that. That was much more affordable. I couldn't afford those great big jumbo box of colors.
And they're hard to put in your little carry-on briefcase.
We didn't have any of that. Okay. Whatever you took to school and left there in your desk.
Yeah, it was on your supplies list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the rich kids always had the big box of Crayolas. I had the medium-sized box
with the broken crayons in it.
No, I was very careful. I didn't break the crayons. I was careful not to do that.
Yeah, if you broke them, you had to eat them.
That's what you
That's
did.
what's going on.
And Jeff and I would sit over there and point to you and go, teacher, he's eating
the crayons.
He's eating magenta over there.
Did you also eat paste?
Did not care for paste. It was a little, didn't like the consistency of it.
Yeah, I'm sure that I ate paste. And there's nothing wrong with me now.
All right. For all you paste eaters out there, send your comments to Mike Mars.
Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Conrad is yet to join us, has he?
No, sir.
Okay, that's perfect. He has slept in, I'm sure. Time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars has the Kia Niro. How do you spell Niro?
Dun,
Niro.
dun, dun.
Niro. Okay. All right. It's all yours, sir.
So this is the 2023 model of this, and it's a hybrid. So you can only get either a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid or a full-blown EV in the Niro. There is no gasoline-only version of this vehicle. Comes in 3 different trim levels, and there's a couple of subsets, but it's an LX, EX, and an SX as the top line. And off the EX and the SX, you can get a touring model that's got a few more little things on it. We have
you took it down to the beach, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you did. I mean, is that on a beach? Is that not a
It
beach?
is, but that's not my picture.
Oh, you stole the picture.
I stole the picture, yes. So this is we had the SX Touring model, which is a hybrid model, in the compact sedan
Are you
class.
eating something?
And no, sir. This is a redesign. The Nero actually came out in 2017, so this is a redesign for 2023. And it's got a lot of the things you would expect in the newer vehicles, the LED front projector headlights, fog lights. It doesn't have a complete LED package, which I thought was rather interesting. Not everything's LED, like a lot of them become, but it's got the key points that are LED. Got some roof rails, power liftgate, got rear privacy glass, power sunroof, got a power liftgate, and we were rolling on the optional 18-inch wheels, which it comes standard with some 16s. Now, also, the color on this thing was rather unique, had a lot of positive comments about it being a cityscape green is what they call it.
I like it.
But the back pillar, the C pillar, is black. So it runs from the wheel well all the way up to the top. And it's pretty wide, and it's rather different looking.
It's unique.
Yeah. Got a lot of people's attention with that. And it kind of is one of those things, after a week, I'm kind of digging it a little bit.
Wow.
So you slide into the inside of it, and we had the Syntex seating material that we were for the seating. We had the heated and the ventilated front seats. We had a 10.25-inch touchscreen up front. Now, this is where we were going to connect with our Kia Connect system, all your convenience controls. Everything's right there, good and easy, handy. We had the wireless charging system. We had a Harman Kardon premium audio system that would just rock in this little vehicle. I'm just telling you, this is it was a system.
Jimmy or AC/DC?
Both.
Wow.
And that's where I've learned where that's kind of the key, kind of laid back, or you hear something like
That's your test tune?
Yeah, we had some coming over this morning,
Yep.
Dirty Deeds this morning.
Oh.
So all in all, it's a very likable interior. I mean, everything's within reach. It feels good. It's friendly. I mean, it's still kind of a small car because you sit kind of close to your passenger, but it's a very, very nice interior. Comfort, feature use.
It's not too tight, but yet
No,
it
fits just right.
There you go.
So up under the hood, we had the 1.6-liter inline-4 as part of the hybrid system, and then there was a 32-kilowatt electric motor that kind of went with that. And together, they produce 139 total horsepower. And this all feeds down to the front-wheel drive system, 195 pound-feet of torque with a 6-speed dual-clutch transmission. So it actually drives pretty kind of sporty-wise because it is a small car and it is light, but it's got some juice to it, and it's a lot of fun. Now, the EPA says you should be looking for 53 in the city, 45 out on the highway, and combined of 49 because, obviously, you're running more electrical on the city side of it than you are out on the highway. Now, I drove it 434 miles, and for that time frame, because I did drive it a lot, 41.1 miles per gallon over that entire range there. And I thought that was really pretty good because not a lot of that was in town, but some of it was. And you can watch on the gauge and see when you're actually into the electrical side versus the gasoline side of it. But it was very friendly user drivability. I really like driving this car. You don't see the end of the hood when you're looking out over the dash the way I was setting. It's kind of like a Corvette. You don't really see the front of the car, so you don't really have anything that can constantly remind you
Judge
that it's
the
a small
distance.
vehicle.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really ride like a small vehicle or like a smaller car. I thought it rode extremely well for the size that it is, particularly on the optional 18-inch wheels. Now, a base vehicle you can get for $27,785. And there's a lot
bad.
of stuff
Yeah.
on this LX model
Wow.
when you step into that. Now, the base trim price that when you step up to that SX Touring price, which again is the hybrid model that we have and front-wheel drive, is $34,700. So it's got quite a bit of stuff on it. But now the MSRP on the one that we were driving was $36,435, which it had $400 worth of options on it. That's that painted C-pillar, which, for $200 I would have got it, but it's what came with it. And so there's really no options on this other than the 18-inch alloy wheels that were included as part of the SX package.
Those are nice wheels, too. I like them.
They were. So I was really impressed with this vehicle. In fact, I had one of my daughters that was kind of thinking about looking at some new cars. I had her come over and check it out.
Yeah.
How many daughters do you have?
2.
Do you have 2 daughters?
And the stripe reminds me of the old Starsky
I've never
and Hutch.
met either one of them.
No, but you've met granddaughter.
I have.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I met the granddaughter. But that stripe reminds me of Starsky and Hutch or that old A-Team GMC van with the comes
The
out.
A-Team.
But it doesn't actually extend from the front to the back.
No, it just goes down to the
it's
wheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very very different looking. But it's attention getting.
And the
like I
color's
say,
nice. I like the
I
color.
thought for that price range, it was a very nice vehicle.
Well, I'll tell you, and it's no secret, I'm a big fan of Hyundai Kia. Overall, I think that they make an affordable, reliable product that's good-looking, modern, and all the other things that you don't look for in a car.
Is that the 100,000-mile warranty? Isn't that what they started out and what they do?
Probably. I mean,
Possibly.
I don't know.
I don't remember seeing that specifically on this, but I know they've got a really good warranty.
I'm thinking maybe that's the introduction when they first had it. They had the 100.
No. They're still
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Mars, I'm a little curious as to whether or not we're going to have the fellow from the Woodlands High School,
I am also.
because
Clay?
I just
Clay?
went outside for a moment, and it is pouring over
Oh,
here
wow.
at the outside the In Wheel Time studio.
And it's usually sunny all the time here over the studio. It's just today's an anomaly where we did get some weather, but it's generally the birds are singing.
they're not singing right now.
Well, no, they're
There's a little chill in the air,
cussing.
but it's certainly not like Buffalo, New
always
York.
sunny.
Looking at
Oh,
my
yeah.
weather map,
Yes.
they're not any better off in the Woodlands than what we are at the
Maybe
moment.
we need to put a weather map up on the screen for everybody. We'll do that.
Yeah,
later.
they're getting wet there too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've got something to fill the time that he was going to take for us.
I'm sure you do.
Always. We always have stuff to
I
talk
think
about.
I can interject
more
something on
car
that, too.
stuff. I want to remind you that the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. And don't forget, podcasts are at your fingertips from your favorite podcast source. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston! America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George R. Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase. Sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, ADM, and luxury cars, plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration, meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeartRadio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
As I like to say, howdy.
I like saying that. You do.
I do like saying that. I believe that was Minnie Pearl.
Yes,
wasn't
it was.
He used to keep the price tag on his headset.
Used to keep the price.
Used to.
Used to.
Remember?
Remember? Used to.
Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we're going to look at the stories making automotive news headlines this week. We also have some features that we're going to do in this segment. We're supposed to have our guest from Coffee and Cars Woodlands High School style, but I don't think that's happening today.
Well,
I think that most of the car shows, outdoor stuff anyway, I think that is a nay.
Well, even
today.
if they're undercover or in a spot where they can talk, they should call in.
Really?
Just saying.
Get the phone wet.
Well, not if you're covered, if you're in a building.
Okay. I have today, like I try to slip in here every once in a while, some of Hemmings Marketplace sold cars roundup. I get that feed, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it would be interesting to start off with a favorite of yours. That'd be the Cadillac. Cadillac 1980.
Let's end it right there.
Coupe
That's good.
de Ville.
Mhm.
I actually bought, it wasn't an 80, it was a later model than that, but it was a Coupe de Ville. And I loved that car. Looked good, two-door, awesome. This particular one sold for $7,000.
Nice.
Yeah. Weekend project car. 71, here's another one of yours, Chevy Nova.
Oh.
This is an SS Tribute with a 468 big block.
Is that a Yenko, is it?
468. No. This is
I had
a
a
tribute.
72.
This is a tribute car.
Okay.
So in other words, probably started off as a 6-cylinder,
Yep.
and then they've converted it to make it look like an SS. Sold for $25,200. It was
Wow.
a pretty good looking car. Somebody
Wow.
put a lot of work and time and money into it. How about a 65 Chevy Impala SS?
Yeah.
Sold
Talk to
for
me.
$51,975. That's in your price range.
Granddaughter. Your daughters and granddaughters, Mike.
Yeah.
Think of
That
them.
had to be one of those, like you were showing a picture a while ago.
Here's
One
another
year.
Cadillac. 1987 Cadillac Brougham. Full-size rear-wheel drive luxury car. Looks great. $5,400.
Yeah, baby.
Jeff, that's got
That's me,
your
man.
name written all over that.
telling you.
Yep.
Yep.
How about a one-owner 1989 Chevy Corvette Coupe with less than 13,000 miles on it?
What year?
A 1989.
89.
Sold for $17,351.
Wow.
One owner. Garage kept. Beautiful car. There it is.
No horsepower, though.
89.
Yeah, they were
starting
to come back out of it, yeah.
A 1967 AMC
Yes.
Rebel
Oh, yeah.
SST. Talk about a one-off car. $28,350. That would be, I don't know whether it's worth that or not, but it would be unique. You
Yes.
never see those. A 1975 Mercedes-Benz 450 SL. Now that's the two-door little sports car looking thing from Mercedes-Benz. 75. And it sold for $12,600.
I was thinking 10.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's one. This is for you, Mars. A 1940 But that was the year you were born, right? 1940 Chevrolet 3/4 ton pickup truck with an older restoration and some recent work. It looks fabulous. It sold for $25,200.
Fabulous.
Fabulous, darling.
Fabulous.
It looks pretty good. There's one thing about Hemmings. It's really an enthusiast publication. And they have it online now. And people sell cars. And generally speaking, you're going to find some really cool cars there, whether they're drivers or they're show cars, whatever the case may be. It's a great place to look if you're in the market for something as a hobby car, I think. 1927 Ford Model T Roadster.
That was the year you were born.
Like a factory type Model T?
No, it's a Roadster. It's a hot rod.
Oh, okay.
You know, skinny tires up front, fat ones in the back.
Yeah.
Sold for $21,000. Boy, I'm all
That's
over
kind
that.
of cheap.
On the verge of being a rat rod. Just on the verge.
Here's one. This would be for Conrad. Low mileage, 1985 Oldsmobile Cutlass 442. Looks like it has T-tops. Sold for $32,550. These are cars that you could, roughly speaking, depending on how deep your pockets are, most people can afford. Here's one. This is for you, Jeffrey.
Another one. My collection is growing.
A 1986 AMC Eagle limited station wagon with less than 39,000 original miles. It sold for $16,800.
Yeah, you know why it's so low miles? The odometer doesn't work when it's being towed.
You know,
I ain't talking to you no more.
It actually wasn't a bad-looking car.
No.
They didn't sell many of them.
The
but
wagons, any wagon you got, you could have a Yugo wagon.
How about a modified 1949 Willis Overland Jeepster convertible with a Chevy small block V8?
Ooh,
you
now you're talking.
discussed that one before. A few weeks ago.
$13,125 is what it sold for. That would be one of those. Al, let me smoke my pipe and give it down the street here in the neighborhood.
Let's go buy some Grey
With a nice
Poupon.
little rumble from the pipes.
I don't know about that.
Well,
it's
you got
a
to be
small
Chevy.
block.
Yeah, but you could do that.
It's not.
Put some cherry bombs on it.
It's not really that kind of a
Cherry
car.
bombs.
It is.
Cherry bombs. You're dating yourself again.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Nobody else will.
dating yourself, here you go. 74. This is for. This would be for Kathy.
Okay.
1974 Ford Gran Torino Elite.
No.
Two-door hardtop.
That would be me.
$12,600.
Gran Torino. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sweet.
Anyway,
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
kind of. Anyway, those
Clint Eastwood.
Kathy and Jeff.
Clint Eastwood.
those well, it's copper colored.
It's all right.
Wrap it.
Copper's cool. Yeah.
Kind of like my old 1966 Corvair that was, what did it called? It was called Aztec Bronze. And it had been sun faded, sat in the field for years, and it looked like primer red. It was so ugly. I can't even begin to explain
Well,
to
the
you.
color you just stated, we call that champagne.
No, this is too dark for champagne.
A Buick.
This would
LeSabre
be more
champagne.
along the lines of Miller High Life beer, bottled beer.
Oh, yeah. Still, that's good. If you like Miller High Life. Then.
I'm not a big Miller fan, but whatever.
Okay.
I have other things. I did want to remind everybody, we're going to have Steve Green from Autorama on a little bit later on. But don't forget, next Thursday is the opening of Houston Autorama. It runs from Thursday, Thanksgiving Day in the afternoon. It opens at 3 o'clock, and it runs all the way through Sunday. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that
We'll be there.
Yeah, Thursday 3 to 8, Friday 10 to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, Sunday 10 to 6. George R. Brown Convention Center. You can get discount coupons at O'Reilly Autorama, at O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Autorama. So there's that. $23 for an adult.
Get you in.
Get you in, and then you get the $2 coupon and $21.
Yeah.
And with the $2, you can buy yourself water.
Yeah. You can. And there's food stations, there's drink stations.
Matter of fact, somebody said to me, well, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Because normally I'm down there.
Oh, we asked you that yesterday.
And I'm not going to go down there, I don't think, on Thanksgiving Day. But normally I'd go down there, work the booth on Thanksgiving afternoon, and have me a chili dog.
Yeah.
Nothing like some good old chili dogs on
From
Thanksgiving
the GRB.
Day. From the
GRB chili dog.
Right,
Nothing
GRB
like it.
chili.
If you haven't been there, do it.
This is a story for you.
Another one.
Another one for you.
Car collection's
Well,
growing.
because Jeff, is from Dearborn, Michigan, Dearborn Heights. Blue Oval City
Yes.
in Tennessee is a linchpin in CEO Jim Farley's $50 billion plan to build 2 million battery-powered automobiles a year by the end of 2026 for the Ford brand. And it seems that the dinner rush is on at Sugar's Diner in Stanton, Tennessee, the only restaurant in this town of 452 souls.
Wow.
Where Blue Oval City is being built. This is the first new Ford plant in 53 years. And it is going to be really something. $50 billion plan to build 2 million battery-powered vehicles a year by the end of 2026.
It's not too far off.
No, it's not.
No. But didn't Rouge build a plant, or they built a Ford plant, a technology center in the Rouge area?
They rebuilt.
They rebuilt Rouge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a technology center for EVs? Isn't that where the truck
and-
comes out of?
And also, it's a truck plant.
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff there at the Rouge River plant. Mars and I have been there.
Yep.
And it is absolutely beautiful.
Well, back when I grew up there, it wasn't that, but, it was still conventional. So.
The Blue Oval City is a $5.6 billion compound that will eventually team with nearly 6,000 workers and spit out about 350,000 plug-in trucks per year from Ford's first all-new automotive assembly plant in more than half a century. Blue Oval City, I've told you about that. That's what it's going to be called. And Ford executives say they aren't abandoning their Michigan roots, but Blue Oval City has been designed for growth. The vast 3,600-acre site is 3 times the size of the mighty Rouge factory complex that Henry Ford built over a century ago. I was watching. I'm sorry.
So that means the Rouge is 1,000 acres?
It says it's 3 times the size of the Rouge factory. The vast 3,600.
Didn't realize Rouge was that big. I mean,
Rouge is huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Because remember, Rouge, they had all of the suppliers, like the glass factory was on the Rouge River site. And so they didn't have to go elsewhere. They did the windshields and the windows for the cars at that site.
Okay.
They also had a place where they poured the steel for the frames and all of the stuff.
Well, that was Rouge's. That was the mantra of Rouge, the cold steel, the hot, furnaces and things. That's what you think of people that grew up.
You go there now and you can see like the big stacks, the chimneys and all that stuff. That's the only thing that's left there as far as the old original plant.
And Great Lakes Steel was down the road from there, and they built steel products for Chrysler. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of the things that I learned about Rouge River. It's a truly fascinating story about how Henry got all that stuff going.
Old Henry.
it just didn't seem that big, but
and there's already controversy over this Blue Oval City and the fact that UAW, now this is a right-to-work state like Texas, Tennessee is, and UAW is going, hey, wait a minute, what about us? We need to be in there. And they're going, we'll see.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees.
Play nice.
And matter of fact, UAW was booted out of another factory in Tennessee that they're not UAW controlled, if you will. Thousands of construction workers boring deep holes for foundation footings using gargantuan drills that would look at home in a Mad Max movie. 6,300 holes that could accommodate a compact car dot the landscape.
Wow.
Huge. Rising from the soil is start of white steel skeleton that will frame the half-mile-long battery plant taking shape at one end of the site that a year ago grew cotton. Small towns nearby, residents view the future manufacturing colossus, as the writer says, with hope and trepidation. This little bitty town that has nobody in it is about to explode. Housing, you got to house all those people. You got to feed them. Grocery stores, Walmarts, all that stuff.
Yeah, their way of living is fixing to drastically change.
Yeah.
EV plugs for the chargers. There you go. Got to have those.
And
trash pickup.
Probably a whole power plant, I would imagine.
Ooh, for size of that operation, yes.
And then you got to put an Amazon facility in there for distribution for all those folks. And
the
more
list goes
restaurants.
on and on and on.
More
and
restaurants.
on.
Yeah. Churches.
There you go.
Jails.
Got to have those.
Got to have jails.
We're familiar with those.
We are.
Yeah, you got to put those in pretty quick. Just before you
that
put
would
the
be
bars
the first
in.
thing. Bars. Forgot about that. There you go.
Anyway, I want to do the Carvana story. Now, this past week, there was some news that the CEO of Carvana had an interview with apparently some news people.
Do tell.
Well, I'm not going to get into all of that because it's all BS. I mean, the guy's, he's trying to cover his bases. The ginormous loss that Carvana is currently going through. So here's the story from Automotive News. Used car retailer Carvana cutting 1,500 jobs, or 8% of its workforce, the company said on Friday, amid waning demand for used cars on the back of sky-high prices and supply shortages. CNBC, which first reported the layoffs, cited an internal memo that the company faced economic headwinds from higher financing costs, and it failed to accurately predict how this would all play out and the impact it would have on the business. The weak demand has forced Carvana to sell many used cars at lower prices after having acquired them at a higher cost due to strong demand for personal transportation at the time. It is now faced with soaring expenses that have led to dour results in the last 5 quarters, raising investor concerns and sending its shares tumbling this year. Jaguar Land Rover said it was looking to recruit workers who had been, this is a different story. But at any rate, I did want to bring that up because I know that you have lots of Carvana follow-up.
Well, I do, and we talked about that last week because it's an ongoing thing with Carvana, and I said I want to go ahead and look at some of the reviews, and there are plenty of reviews out there for Carvana. I want to say there's good, there's bad, there's ugly, and a lot of them.
Well, we want to hear the bad.
Well, I just pulled some. Here's one. You got to read these like Casey Kasem in the dedication. So this one comes
but
to
you
us.
You have to do it like
this. This one comes to us from Las Vegas, Nevada, and they write, "Dear Carvana, having issues receiving my overpayment check. I had to make an extra payment since Carvana did not pay the bank within the time promised. Carvana told me the car payment was within a few days of my loan balance would be paid off, and the bank would credit me the overage. Sounds good. Carvana did not pay the original amount, which was supposed to be paid on the new payoff of the car, yet they were asked to make another payment to Carvana, so they double paid. So this brings the user's recommendation, be careful. Carvana is good in the beginning, but once the deal goes through and if they owe you money, good luck. No one will send you the email or even leave a message on your phone. So that was a bad experience for that person. And the other thing I see, this one comes to us from Anthony. Anthony in whatever city. No delivery for cash.
There's no city there?
No, he's just Anthony.
Just Anthony.
For Carvana to make the decision not to deliver if a customer utilizes a third-party finance or pays in cash is a very, very poor business decision, according to Anthony. This is a tactic to steer customers into their financing, Carvana's financing, and also the rates are astronomically high. The business tactic negates the convenience of the service, which led this customer to cancel the deal. Now, the customer missed some time off of work. They had to be negotiating with Carvana. And it turns out if you do not finance through them, you do not get delivery. So you're on your own. You got to
So
go
you
get
gotta-
it.
you
or
gotta go
whatever
Then
the
you
case.
got to go to that stupid vending
Whatever
machine.
the case. Whatever the case.
How many
So-
quarters you got to put in there to get
I
your
don't know.
car
It's
out?
just one big giant one, I think. And then this one, Christina from Tucson, Arizona. Dear Carvana, the company is a ripoff. Now, this is her words, not mine. After all the documents were signed, she had to buy car insurance through them. The company was Root Insurance, LLC. She was also asked to buy car insurance from her local insurance company because they requested that also to have the car delivered. So Christina sent the insurance card to them, and it was rejected because the car is a Nissan Altima, but the insurance card only said Nissan. It didn't specific on the styling of it. So after they corrected it, they sent it through again. It was still rejected. Rachel, the representative from Carvana, hung up on these folks and never to be heard from again, so they canceled the deal. The user recommendation from Christina is do not buy a car from Carvana. So there you go. You can look these up. They're online. There are some good ones. Not many, but most of them are challenges. Now, Carvana did resolve a lot of these, allegedly. I don't know these people personally, but according to what they say, some of it's been resolved. So good for them.
Well, I like the way that Carvana floats money.
Yeah.
And the fact that they don't pay the state their taxes, they don't pay the fee for the registration, and the registration runs out. And where's my tag that I paid for?
Exactly.
Well, they're floating the money.
Yeah.
And they're not paying for it until the last second, so you don't get your license plate.
And apparently they're not paying for it at the last second. Maybe
No.
that was their intention.
Yeah, well, that's what they say
yeah,
their intention
you can't,
is.
You don't know what the intention is. Allegedly type thing. So,
Yeah, it's just
Well, yeah, that goes without saying.
but you could look these up on any car company, the good, the bad, and the.
well,
reviews.
there's other online retailers. Vroom,
Vroom, yeah, I
is
see a
one
lot of
of
Vroom
them.
plates, yeah.
True Car.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of them on there, and I guess what ticks me off is that Carvana is spending millions of its dollars on advertising, and this is what you get. Really? I don't know as if they'll go out of business, but I think that this CEO needs to
Yeah,
go.
and then probably combine or be purchased, bought out, whatever the case.
I guess. Or maybe you'll see those vending machines 30 years from now turned into, a used car lot or something.
Giant bags of Fritos in them.
Ooh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Come
yeah.
down, you get a giant bag.
I
to put in your chili.
Popcorn.
Popcorn's good, yeah. A giant popcorn maker on the side of the road
Yeah.
with an EV
Stop,
plug.
fill it up.
With an EV plug. There you go.
Yeah.
Electric.
Plug your car in, get some juice.
I'm sure that
and
there's a
get some
used car
popcorn.
dealer over there in Naderville that could use one of those vending machines.
See, we're giving out these grand ideas. Somebody's going to do that, and we're not going to get paid for it.
do you have
Again?
any used
Again.
car lots in Naderville?
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
One. I mean, the
Is
the
it
new
Mike's used car
car.
lot?
No, it's Michael's.
It's
Oh,
Michael's used car lot. So there's your invitation to go right in there, get that. You wouldn't even have to change the name of it.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
And you get a bag of Fritos.
All right. Jaguar Land Rover says it was looking to recruit workers who have been fired by technology companies such as Meta Platforms, which is,
Google?
no, it's Facebook,
Oh.
and Twitter to fill digital and engineering vacancies. The automaker wants to hire about 800 workers across the U.S., UK, Ireland, India, China, Hungary, JLR said in a statement Friday. Jobs are in areas including autonomous driving, artificial intelligence, electrification, cloud software, data science, and machine learning. So if you're looking for a job and you've got those skills, there you go. Go to work for JLR. Whew. Okay. Not a big fan, but whatever. National Automobile Dealers Association on Wednesday applauded the Senate introduction of legislation that would help law enforcement combat an alarming rise in catalytic converter thefts in the United States. The bill, known as the Preventing Auto Recycling Theft, or PART Act in September following an earlier effort this year in the U.S. House of Representatives. Bill aims to reduce catalytic converter thefts by requiring new vehicles to have the VIN stamped onto the converter, allowing law enforcement officers to link stolen parts to the originating vehicles. The bill also would create a grant program to allow dealers, repair shops, and other eligible parties to stamp VINs onto the converters of existing vehicles and establish federal criminal penalties for theft, sale, trafficking, or known purchases of stolen catalytic converters of up to 5 years in jail. In the U.S., catalytic converters are being stolen at increasingly higher rates because they contain costly precious metals that you already know about, platinum, palladium, and rhodium, that are not easily traceable. Stolen converters can go for up to $350 each on the black market, but can cost vehicle owners as much as $2,500 to replace.
Just ask my son. He's had 2 off of his, but he's had them replaced and all that good stuff. And didn't they put the responsibilities on the metal recycling folks too, that they should be part of that, where they're not taking them in, even though it has or does not have.
So
a VIN.
who do you sell rhodium to?
No. I mean just the
palladium.
Just
who do you
stolen?
sell? I understand, but who do you sell that to? Oh, well, what are you, Mike Mars? You're a precious metals dealer.
Yeah.
And you buy rhodium and palladium and titanium.
Standing down on the corner in a trench coat.
We've
Hey, you want some rhodium?
we've come for your palladium, Chuck.
But so I don't understand.
I got a pound here.
Where does this stuff
It's a
go?
pound of Renault.
Yeah, I mean-
if you don't find the catalytic converter, okay, so that means that they've taken out I don't even know what that stuff
I don't know
looks
how you do
like.
it, yeah.
And from what I understand, it's a little minuscule amount. Okay, so now I've got it.
What do you do with it?
What do you do with it? Where do you take it? Who's buying it? You buying it?
I got
You
a
buying it?
thimble full of Luidium or whatever.
Yeah, put it in a baggie. You know, sell it baggies.
Right, and take it down to the guy that buys diamonds and gold, and I
Precious
don't know.
metal. I mean, there's got to be somebody. There's a buyer someplace.
Yeah, that's going to pay $350 per catalytic converter for these 3 little things.
I couldn't tell you. I'm not in that market.
Yeah.
We don't have people on the street corner over there where I live that
Do you
those
have
kind of
people on the street corner there?
things. A few.
Do you?
Yeah, we few.
Really?
But it's raining out, so they're
Because they
not out
can't
today.
move out or what?
Well, it's because they're in transition from one
I
street corner
see.
to the other.
The thumb doesn't work anymore.
No.
Okay. Just thought I'd check.
So they're
Well, I see
transitioning.
that we happen to have poised to take the stage is Steve Green from Autorama.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting there. He's getting ready.
Chomping at the bit.
And he's looking good doing it,
Yeah,
too.
looking
so
good.
Steve Green's coming up. We're going to take a quick break now. We're going to talk to him about Autorama when we come back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston, America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George R. Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics, and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, ADM, and luxury cars, plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration, meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitchin' Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
From Studio A in Houston, Texas, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Autorama Move-In begins Tuesday, and we'll hear what it's like being the guy in charge of it, if he'll admit to it. Had a chance to drive the 2022 Lexus LS 500, give you my thoughts on it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar, and later Conrad has This Week in Auto History if he decides to get out of bed on the left coast.
There you go.
It's just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy. Along with Mike, Out of This World Mars. We need more, Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this rainy Saturday here in Houston, Texas. Joining us now from the palatial home of Steve Green. He is the master of the move-in at Autorama. Do you like that title?
Hey, it sounds good.
Does it? Master of the move-in. Because this is your deal, is it not?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the move-in's a big part. It takes a team to do it all.
Yeah, I know. How many guys that you got working for you at move-in time?
There's right at about 20 of us during move-in for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. And, this has been going on for, 62 years. And I think by now you got it down pretty good, don't you?
Well, yeah, we got a good process, so it works out well for us.
Yeah. Of course, it doesn't help when you're sitting outside down there, what is it, Claiborne, or whatever street that is that runs down behind the George R. Brown, when you've got cars lined up for about a mile out there trying to get in.
Right.
So what time do these cars, what time you have to get up in the morning to get in line to go for the move-in at noon on Tuesday?
Well, a lot of guys, they start getting there a little early, but we actually shut down that street on the back there are 2 lanes to that road, and we shut that down at 11 o'clock a.m., and then they start lining up, filling those roads up, and at noon we open the gates and the doors and start moving traffic in.
Yeah, and it's truly amazing to see. Most people, they'll go to a convention or something, and you think, oh, this is really nice, but they never think of the actual
how it gets done,
because you just don't think about that sort of thing. Yeah. And to me, it's truly amazing, especially when you've got an entire convention center full of cars, and you drive them in there. And most of the people have some sort of display that goes along with it, whether it's just a carpet on the floor or whatever the case. You can kind of goose up the display a little bit.
Stanchions.
Sure, all of that sort of thing. And all that stuff has to be hauled in there and the cars driven in there. And it is a definite process. The other thing that some of the first-timers don't know is that you're not allowed in there with anything more than a quarter of a tank of gasoline. And I made that mistake myself and had, I don't know, it was over a quarter of a tank in the Corvair. Remember when we showed the Corvair? Yeah. I had to drive around downtown Houston for about an hour and a half to get the gauge down to the quarter of a tank. And I guarantee you I'm not by myself
you couldn't
in that.
just take the car and tip it up and drain it out?
Well, that's what I was going to do, but
the Corvair.
I had nothing to put the gas in.
Oh.
And I certainly wasn't going to have it wasted away on the street or something.
No, you just go drive around
wasting it.
Wasting it. Yeah. See, do you have lots of people like that, Steve?
We do have some individuals. We forewarn them, but it does happen, and they come in, then they have to go drive around, or they have to figure a way to go home and drain it, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, exactly. So, have you got everything all laid out? The map, the floor layout of where everybody's going to be and where we're going to be. Are we going to be next to Craig again?
Yeah, yes, sir. You will. You'll be right behind him there.
Well,
there goes the neighborhood.
And,
there goes the neighborhood. I think that don't you kind of rope that area off, and it's kind of like a hazardous waste site.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, right in the center there.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Well, we appreciate all that you do. So how long does it take you to do that? I mean, do you wait to see all of the entries to see what kind of floor space you're going to need?
Well, we normally have about the same floor space every year, but as individuals, car clubs, they send them in. They tell me how they want to be parked and like in their car clubs, and then we place them, give them a number, so it just makes it easier for my guys when those come in the door. Just take them right to their space, and there's a group of us, and it's in progress right now, and we'll finish that up tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, okay.
Be ready.
Yeah. Well, I unfortunately this will be the first year since we've had the In Wheel Time car show there, which is a while.
Yeah.
6-7 years. I don't know what it is, but whatever the case may be, Mr. Mars is going to be by himself at the move-in on Tuesday because I have to work, unfortunately. But and I would imagine, well, from what I have seen in our move-in, there are lots of booths. There's just one guy working all afternoon, putting all the pieces together of their booth. Don't you find that's typically the case?
It is. Usually there's that one person that gets stuck doing it, or, he's got a group or whatever. But
yeah.
So I'm going to bring a cot with me. So
you might be spending the night there into Wednesday. But so move in noon to what? Noon to 8?
Okay. On Tuesday, we're going to go noon to 7.
Noon to 7. Okay.
Yeah. And then on Wednesday, we'll go 9 a.m. and then we'll allow cars to come in up until 7 p.m. And then around, they can hang out and finish up till about 8. And then we have to be done. So everybody has to be moved in by Wednesday night that's going to be in the show. Yeah. And then we do allow, if you need to come back, the exhibitors need to come back Thursday morning. Since we don't open till 3, they can come in as early as 10 to, finish cleaning and.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Finish their display.
Yeah.
Just no move in on Thursday.
So this year, last year you had the tuner section. What possessed that to get rid of the auction or not have the auction any longer?
Well, one of the auction houses we were working with, they had went out of business.
Oh.
So, and then it was kind of just tough to find one. And so the Tuner Galleria, it seems it works really well up north in our other shows. So we tried it this past year and it worked good, and we're going for it again this year. And we're hoping to have over 200 vehicles in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how do you get the word out with the tuners? Because this is basically a cruise in. It's one of those deals where the guys go in the morning. It's on Saturday, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And they're going to move in. They're going to start moving in Friday night.
Okay.
And then it'll be all day Saturday, and then they'll move out Saturday night.
Gotcha.
And we have another guy in charge, which he's the one that kind of runs it up in our other cities, and he's just real big into that scene, and he's been pushing the word out here locally and going to all those car meets, and he's getting
He
the
knows
guys
those
together.
contacts and stuff.
Yeah. Well, because
Yes.
from all the years that I've been going to Autorama, it's a unique feature because typically, Autorama has always been a static display of all the cars. And it's not one of those deals where you cruise in. And all I can think of is back in our day when we were in high school and in our early 20s, we wouldn't go typically to and enter a car in a static display and not be basically without a car for 4 days or
Right.
5 days. And this way it gets the younger bunch in that actually drive their cars in the whole tuner circle stuff. And we, as older guys that really aren't into that sort of thing, get to see them.
Yeah.
Talk to the guys about it.
And the perfect example are David's boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
His kids are involved in that. Very good.
And so it brings in the younger bunch, enthusiasts, and I think it's a great thing because I enjoy going down there and looking at the cars myself to see what the guys are doing that are in high school.
Well, last year we had some on the show.
Yeah.
We went down.
Yeah,
and
we
looked
talked
at
to
them.
3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
Very enthusiastic guys.
Yeah, it was a fun interview with those guys because it's just a different perspective than most of us traditionalists, if you want to call us.
And
that.
they make you feel old.
They make you, yeah, there's that. Steve, once you get the show set up and everybody's all moved in and it's time for the show to open on Thursday, are you even there anymore? Do you really care about anything?
Yes, I'm there all the way till Sunday night when we move out.
So what do you do? What do you do after?
That's when the fun starts.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what do you do when everybody's all moved in and all hunky-dory in their little spot?
Well, I just walk around, enjoy the show, and talk to all the car exhibitors and vendors. And
do you talk to us?
just-
I don't ever see you at the dang
You
show.
better talk
You
to
never
us.
come by our booth.
y'all are busy. I walk by a lot. Y'all are always busy.
Well, we try to stay out of trouble.
Schedule him in.
Now,
Yeah, get me. I'll be there.
now is
But
George?
the move in is the big part of it for my team. But once the show starts, it's good.
That's
the
easy.
best.
Yeah. Well, when I get too old to do this anymore, can I manage one of the doors or something? And
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Would you hire me to do
Absolutely.
something? Clean the floor or mop the floor or
I
something?
definitely would.
Okay, well, good, because us car enthusiasts, we're difficult to get rid of, because once we start, we just can't stop.
like a
It's
bad
kind of like
wart.
a heroin.
Yeah, like a
addiction.
bad rash.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Is GRB going to have food there this year?
Oh yes. Yeah, there'll be concessions.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure because, typically, and I'm not going to do it this year, typically I always draw the short straw on Thanksgiving Day because I haven't really had anything else to do. So I go down there and hang out. And my turkey down at George R. Brown Convention Center is nothing but a big, fat chili dog. And I like chili dogs. And so I just want to make sure that they're going to have chili dogs down there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think you stunned him.
I know. I did.
What?
That wasn't much of a commitment
We'll find
there.
one.
We'll find me one. Fine. Great. Might have to go down to James Coney Island, but whatever.
Yeah,
the
we
case.
get you one, yeah.
Or get the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile in there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now there is for the general public, parking is really across the street underneath the Discovery Green, right?
Yes, there's a underground parking there, and then next door at the end of the convention center on the north side there's a big parking garage as well.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, there is now.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that down there by that honky tonk that they built down there?
Honky tonk?
It's on the opposite end. It's closer to the Marriott.
Oh, down there. Yes, I do vaguely remember that thing.
It's down by Biggio's, or is that on the other
Yeah,
side?
no, it's down there by Biggio's.
Yes.
Biggio's.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Is there a difference in price and parking, or do you know that?
I'm not real sure of the pricing. I know last year they did have a special pricing for us for the show, so I'm hoping we're going to have that again this year.
Yeah,
That underground parking is really convenient, though.
it is. Yeah, it is. It is because well, of course, I would imagine the garage would be just as fine as well. But then you got to walk down to the
that's
entrance.
what I'm saying. Once you get out of the underground, the C and D halls are right there.
Yeah.
So you get the special awards for the special builds. They're going to be right up front again as you walk into the entrance.
The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, the Magnificent Seven.
Yes, we have a lot of traveling cars. A lot of the guys that go around the country for points, they're all going to be placed at the front of the show, right at the front where the spectators walk in.
Yeah. Okay.
What does it cost to show a vehicle, or is it what? How do you get in there and say I need a booth, and what does it take from the exhibitors end of it?
On the exhibitors, they just fill out an entry form. They'll mail in pictures or email pictures, and then it's a $50 entry fee.
Is that still open? Can you still do that today?
You will be on a waiting list if someone still does it today. We are actually sold out right now.
You are.
Very
Oh,
good.
that's good. Well, I'm glad to hear that because I will say that the past 2-3 years it's been rather bleak with the COVID thing and all of the stuff that's been going on with the restrictions and stuff. But there's none of that this year.
No, there's no restrictions at all.
Good.
And our exhibitors, the car exhibitors, the entries have been strong. They started coming in as early as May, and our commercial vendors, the biggest we've seen in about 4 years. So
that's good.
Nice.
That's good to know. Now, do you have a special party that we're invited to, where that you host, and there's alcoholic beverages,
And chili dogs.
and hors d'oeuvres, and things like that at some
the
point?
chili dog.
Yeah, the chili dogs. Yeah. Is there some sort of a party for us?
No, well, I guess we could make a party,
There
but
you
we
go.
don't have anything planned at the moment.
Well,
Well,
we'll talk to Craig.
Yeah,
No,
we are across from
talk,
Craig.
We'll talk
That's
to
right.
Craig.
Yeah.
Let him host it in his booth.
Yeah.
And we'll
In the
go
bus.
In the bus.
Bus.
The private party.
The private party in the
you go.
bus. Okay.
I like
well-
the way he quoted that.
No, I did too.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
All right. Well, it's great to see you. I got to see him last weekend at a private event, and it's funny because somehow, some way, throughout the year, that I keep running into you. I don't know. I don't know why, but I do. It's a car thing.
Yep. Well, that's all right. I try to get out there and make events and, just try to promote the show and
Now,
continue networking.
I
with
have
people.
to ask you this: Are you doing this with all of the Autorama shows?
I just do the Houston and Dallas show.
That's it. So, do you have a real
Yes.
job?
Yes, I do.
What is your real job? What do you do? I've never
I
asked you
work
this.
in the quality department at Halliburton.
The quality department at Halliburton. Okay.
Yeah, supplier quality at Halliburton Energy Services.
Okay.
I've been there 25 years.
Wow.
Really? And they still put up with you.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah. Yeah. I asked that question myself. But
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you this: Will the entries in the GRB? Will you ever outgrow the GRB? Will it ever get to a point where you're going to have to move the event?
Where would you move it to?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. How would that work? I mean, how many entries do you have now? You said you're sold out. Is it 1,000, 200? What is the number that you have there today?
Well, we'll have under the roof. We'll have over 500 again. And, the goal is to always have more, to get more people involved in these indoor shows. And, we pretty much max out. It's kind of tough to say, and where would we go, in the city? Because this is one of the larger facilities in town, but that would be a goal to expand, but
Well, yeah, that's
just kind of limited. Right?
Yeah. Well, so at any rate, Steve, it's great to talk to you. Autorama opens Thursday, Thanksgiving afternoon, 3:00, and runs through Sunday. George R. Brown Convention Center, and I guess we will see you Tuesday or Wednesday at Move In.
All right. We'll see y'all there. Looking forward to it, guys.
Thanks,
You
Steve.
bet.
Thank you.
It's good to talk to him as always. Good to see him, and always the man about town when it comes to Move In at Autorama. All right.
It's got me excited.
Does it?
Yeah.
Are you going to go down there and help Mars move in?
I think I'm just going to have to. If you want to do it right, I'm going to have to.
Okay.
Thank you, yeah.
Just don't forget that, Morris, that if he comes down there, he's kind of in charge.
I'll bring the pillow.
The pillow, yeah. Conrad's pillow. No, your pillow.
A pillow.
Yeah, your pillow over there. All right. Time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the 2022 Lexus LS 500. Available trim levels, there's just one.
The 500.
That's it, and that's all there is. There's only one trim level. Now, they do have bundled packages of options that you can get, but there's only one real trim level. This is a full-size car, sedan, that's 4 passengers and 1 driver. This particular design that's on the road today was all new in 2018. No major changes for 2022. Overwhelming spindle grille is polarizing. Lower body sculpting adds a sporty look down the side. Attractive rear styling with chrome-tipped dual exhaust. Fastback rear window styling with a short rear deck lid. What I liked about it, the black chrome wheels on the F-Sport gives it a more modern and racy kind of appeal. What could use improvement? The grille. Interior highlights, modern, sophisticated styling with standalone optional screen in the middle of it. Well, it's not optional, actually. It's the standalone infotainment screen. But it does have an optional contrasting interior color that I had on mine. There's all sorts of different color combinations that you can get for the interior. Annoying finger touchpad for the infotainment control, but it does have a new 12.3-inch touch screen. I know that Lexus is beginning to finally move away from the touchpad control. It just adds another layer of complexity to trying to get, for instance, the radio station changed. It's kind of frustrating. Anyway, trunk room, big. What I like, mostly everything on it. Mark Levinson sound system is superb. What could use improvement? A larger trunk opening, which is kind of a stupid thing to say, but I had to fill in the blank.
And the automatic with the leg underneath is good.
Yeah. The thing that opens the trunk.
Yeah.
3.5-liter V6 engine that turns out 416 horsepower. 416 horsepower out of a V6. 442 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic transmission, smooth as silk. Gets 18 miles per gallon city, 29 on the highway. I got 22, right smack dab in the middle, over 240 miles. What I really liked about the engine, it's smooth, and you really can't tell the difference between it and the V8. It begs, though, for an electric power option. I think that they really should have an E version, and I'm sure that it's in the works. But this one, it's like, come on, electrify me, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, different levels, several different levels, yeah.
Ride and handling, what I liked about it is the 80s Cadillac ride. Super smooth with that air suspension. It rocks. You're not going to find a better ride out there in a sedan. What could use improvement? Nothing. This is what you buy the car for. The ride, the power, the luxury. It's got all of those things going for it. Base trim price is $79,600. Price is tested $98,255. $98,255.
It's a pretty car. It's a pretty car.
It is a pretty car. Base model price is $76,100. Good luck in trying to find a base model on an LS 500. Competitors to this vehicle is the Genesis G90. It starts at $77,450. The Audi A8 starts at $86,500. The BMW 7 Series, $86,800.
Wow.
What does that look for?
Well, it's just they're all right there in there together, I guess.
Yeah, but remember, do you remember when the Lexus brand debuted? This was the car that was the only car they had, Lexus LS. That started in 1989. You weren't even born yet.
I was building a spine.
You're building a spine, yeah. But it's come a long way, baby. If you want a full-size luxury sedan, 4-door, that rides as smooth as silk and has got leg room in the back like no tomorrow, this would be the drive-in car to take your first date on. If Dad would let you take the
What's
car.
the model below the 500? Because the LS, because Jason and Caitlin have one.
An LS?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. There
pretty
is
car.
one.
Yeah.
That it's the LS 500. Now, it may not have all the bells and whistles on
I don't know if it's the 500, but it is a pretty car.
it. It is a beautiful car. I really do like it. Lexus is moving, I think, to downsizing that spindle grill because they've heard enough of the polarizing grill thing.
From you.
Well, not only from me. As a matter of fact, you know what I
There's
do?
a lot of people.
When I do these reviews, I look at what other people have to say about it.
Yeah, snowplow look is a lot of what I hear a lot.
Yeah.
Snowplow.
Yeah.
If you wanted to buy a pre-owned, could you probably get it from Jerry Emmons at his place?
I'll bet you that you
probably
could.
could.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he's going to be joining us here
Yeah, that's why I said
very
that,
soon.
yeah.
Well, he volunteered Gary. Jerry volunteered Gary to join us.
Oh, is it Gary?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Well, whoever.
He'll have one too.
It's
I
one
think.
of the Emmons brothers.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get,
Nah.
but you do when it comes to their cars. So we're going to have a long discussion about used cars. Wasn't there
We
a
also got to talk about drag racing because they just got back from Pomona.
Oh yeah.
wasn't there a movie called Used Cars?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I
They
don't
had to have
believe
1,000 on the lot or something in order to keep the dealership. Something.
I don't know. I don't know. Did you ever see the movie?
Yeah.
Was it good? Was it
Yeah.
worth watching? Was it funny?
Well, it was back then.
Sort of like Hollywood Nights.
No. There is nothing like Hollywood Nights.
No.
And I'm sure that the
I mean,
Emmons,
it's Kurt Russell, and it was funny, but it was
Kurt Russell, isn't he married to Goldie Hawn?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those rare marriages that lasted forever.
Made in heaven.
we wouldn't know. I was going to say you wouldn't know, but I didn't
You're
want to
going
throw
to go
you out.
there again?
I wasn't going to throw you out there
Conrad's not
alone.
here.
Because you know what?
Conrad's not here, so he's taking over.
Because you know what?
Trying to fill in for
Because
Conrad.
you, sir, have no room to talk.
I said we. I didn't want to throw you under the bus by yourself.
Okay, it's
today.
time for a break.
It's not time for a break, but we
Trying
could,
to get you out of
we
this.
could go for a break. Hey, don't forget, and there we have the commercial for Lupi Tortilla and Tailpipes and Tacos, December 17th.
Yep,
correct.
So make your plans for that. You know, typically around that time, the week before Christmas, the weather is usually pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm
It is.
hoping
Get rid
is.
of
Yep.
this
Yep.
kind of stuff,
Yep.
and
Kind of get a little diversion from all the Christmas and Thanksgiving hoopla. Kind of come out and
Yeah.
play cars.
yeah, exactly. So it's a great cruise in, tacos, adult beverages. It's
And
wonderful.
adult
And
beverages.
the proceeds from the tacos and the adult beverages go to the Shirley Muldowney charity organization for
Shirley's
Muldowney.
kids.
Yeah, Shirley's kids.
Shirley's kids.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We are going to take a quick break. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on the iHeartRadio app and Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. 30-minute podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston, America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Auto-Rama at at the George R. Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, JDM, and luxury cars, plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration, meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitchin' Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we talk with the king of cars.
Yep.
Both on the track and on the sales lot, Jerry Emmons. Conrad will have This Week in Auto History if we can get a hold of him out on the West Coast. He's probably surfing this morning.
Yeah, I think he is.
We'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us for the last half hour of our program on this Saturday. It's a rainy Saturday around town. Good day to go out and talk to the Emmons brothers about the Emmons Autoplex down there in Webster, Texas for 47 years. Good morning, sir. How are you?
We're doing great. It's a rainy day in Webster, Texas. I'm sure it's raining where you are too. So we're just trying to make the best of a dreary day.
Yeah, well, speaking of a great day, that auto racing that you guys do on the drag strip has been pretty darn successful here of late.
We've had a pretty good run at it. Last year, obviously, was really good, winning the World Championship. And we had a really good beginning of the year. And we kind of, I don't want to say slacked off, but we just didn't have any luck. And then towards the end of the year, it kind of picked back up for us.
Yeah.
So we really, I mean, you know, when you enjoy doing something, whether you have a bad outing or not, it's always a good time. But I mean, we go there more than just for the good time. We go there to win because we're just competitive that way.
How was Pomona?
Let's talk about Vegas. That's better.
Okay.
Yeah, Pomona was okay. My brother Gary has been struggling with this. We have a Gremlin in one of the Cobra Jet Mustangs, and we thought we worked it out prior to going to Pomona. At Vegas, we thought we worked it out. And round one, the Gremlin serviced again, so he didn't do very well. But Pomona wasn't as great of an outing for us as we had hoped it would be. But Vegas, we did really good. My brother Terry has a modified Eliminator Superstock Cavalier. He made it to the semifinals of it, and I think he lost by 4 or 5 thousandths. And he actually let his opponent back around at the finish line. In our type of racing, you have to dial in what you're going to run, right? You have to, yes, get some shoe polish right on the window. And he was sizing up his opponent and was just scrubbing the brake a little bit too much and let him back around by, I think it was 4 or 5 thousandths of a second. So that was pretty disappointing.
That's tough.
And then the following week at the Las Vegas Lucas Oil Divisional event, I made it to the semifinals of that event, and I lost by 7 thousandths of a second. So, and we would have had a heads-up run in the final, meaning the category I was running in was stock eliminator, but the class was called A stock automatic. So how that works is that when you are paired up against anyone with the same letter designation on your window as they have on their window, then you run each other heads up, which is what you see on TV, right? The first one to the finish line wins. That's where you drain the oil out of your car. You know, instead of running 6 or 7 quarts, you run like if you're brave, you run 3, and you get dry ice, put on the intake manifold, put on the fuel cell, and you get all your buddies to help push you to the start line. So I'm not saying I would have beat my opponent, but according to performance, I had a sizable performance. Now, you know, anything can happen on the racetrack, right? We all know that. But I feel like if I had just made those 7,000s go my way in the semifinals, I felt pretty confident I was going to win the final. But, you know, you got to race them. You can't just say that. So, and then Pomona just didn't work out for us, but that's okay. We still had a great year. I just missed finishing in the top 10 by a few rounds. So I'm a little disappointed about that, but hopefully next year we're going to tee it up a little bit better.
Do you guys run the same engine the entire year?
Yes. Well, we generally try to. Our stuff is pretty fresh. Every year we'll take it out. Like right now, we're pulling all the engines out and sending them off, getting them freshened. But generally, they last us. I mean, they'll last. I have one engine that worked for 4 years because I was waiting on another engine to get built. And as long as you're not too hard on it, we run our cars during qualifying very conservative. We don't like to turn a lot of RPM. And so, but if you take care of them, they'll last a long time. They're not like what you see on TV, all the pros where you got to tear them down. Well, those guys tear them down every run. But as long as you do your general maintenance, they'll last 3 or 4 years. But for performance-wise, you need to have a fresh bullet in it every season.
Yeah. Do you guys find yourself in a position where you put a rev limiter on it? Make sure that you don't overspin it.
Right. Well, we have a rev limiter, set up in our ignition system, but how we prevent that, and we don't really like it to hit the rev limiter. I know in the NHRA Pro Stock they do, but in our class we just detune them by running a lot of oil. Like if I put my car will fly at 3.5 quarts of oil total. I think that includes the oil filter. Now it's not safe to run it that way, all year long. But I'll do it for 1 or 2 runs. Generally, if I put, instead of like running 3.5 quarts of oil, I'll run 6 or 7. That'll slow the motor down where it doesn't reach that RPM rev limiter chip.
How does it do that?
That's a great question. I don't know. It's a trick we learned a long time ago.
The amount of drag.
And on our Superstock cars, instead of doing that, we may run a bigger, an oversized tire. That'll keep the RPM down.
There's a volume of
but
pumping.
You have to be careful because you don't want to be too conservative that you make your car inconsistent. You still have to make sure, like sometimes we learned in one of our Superstock cars that we over-tired it and we ran too much oil in the engine and we ran it low on the RPM, like we would shift it early. And what we found out, it took us a year to learn that, but what we found out is that it actually created, when the atmospheric conditions changed, the car didn't follow the weather, the formula that we have. So it was hard to dial the car, and we lost a lot of races because of it. But now I feel like we have a pretty good handle on it.
And you dial it in based on how you ran at that track either earlier in the year or last year.
Yes, that's correct. So we're pretty good with our data. We have runs from 5 years ago, like from Vegas and California. So let's just say that we had a bad run at one of the events this year, and we're not sure, like, gosh, like, what am I going to dial? The eliminations are about to begin. So we can go back. We have a software system that will go back to the previous year or 5 years before that, and we can pull up all the weather, and we can pull up, because our cars stay tuned. When we go to an event, we keep good notes on how we tune it for that, for that track. Mm-hmm. So we can just make sure everything lines up, and if it does, then we can just predict it off air from 3 years ago. And I can get it within, I'd like to say I can get it within 2 to 3 hundredths of a second. And that's pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt. Wow. Now, do you wrench your own cars?
I'm sorry?
Do you wrench your own cars?
Well, What do you mean?
Well, I mean, do you work on it?
I'm a wrench. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, we do. We have a gentleman that helps us from time to time, but we generally do all the work ourselves. We try to do everything before we get to the event. We obviously work on them in our shop in Pasadena.
Yeah.
But when we get to the track, if we have to do anything, for example, like the heads-up run I was telling you about, our tune-up is already set. We may have to rejet the carburetor because of the dry ice, or we're going to chill the fuel, things like that. But that's a pretty simple thing to do, and we can do that. But yes, we do all the work ourselves. Now, when it comes to rebuilding an engine, no, we send that off and let the professionals take care of that.
Are you able to keep your clutch the entire year?
Yes.
Yep. Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I would have never guessed that.
Oh yeah, our cars are pretty. I mean, they're powerful, but everything is. I mean, we try to make sure that we can run them. I mean, all year long without any trouble. I mean, it's obviously not. We're not like NHRA Pro Stock, but we do everything we can to make sure that we have a consistent setup. And if we need anything, we have a spare for every car. That's why our trailer. If you ever come by our trailer at an event, and we're loading or unloading, you're thinking, my goodness, how do you get all this stuff in this trailer? Or how long does it take you to load? Because we have a Cobra Jet Mustang. We have a 69 Camaro, big block Chevrolet. Mm-hmm. We have 2 or 3 of those. But then we have a modified Eliminator Cavalier. So each of those take different transmissions, different carburetors, different ignitions. Well, I take it back. The ignitions are the same. But it's amazing what we can pack in that trailer. But as long as you have the spares, you're okay. But we've never, knock on wood, we've never had to. But I've never been in a position where we've had to change something in between rounds like that.
I guess that's how you get your consistency, because your engine lasts. You're not changing the engine every 2 or 3 events. So now you got to worry about, did we get this one tuned the same way and all that?
That's 100%. That's correct.
Okay.
And because we're so conservative during qualifying and throughout all the rounds of eliminations, and our maintenance is pretty good. I'm proud of that. So because we do that, we don't have a lot of breakage, during eliminations. If we do, like for example, my brother is struggling with this Cobra Jet Mustang. We're having a gremlin with it. So, it's electrical, right? So it's not like it's mechanical, right? It's not like it's transmission going out or the blower's bad, the supercharger or the transmission. It's just something that just created all of a sudden. It was fine when we put it up last year, and this year it's right out of the box. It's been a problem.
Are you sure you don't have that engineered by the in-wheel time electrical team?
Yeah,
because we have that problem all the time.
I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
One, I need a Wally behind me, so that's the goal, to get a Wally back here.
And we'll put it on display for you if you'd like to loan it to us.
And you got it.
All right.
How is the car business?
That's a great question. So I'm sure if you guys have talked to anyone else, they'll tell you it's going.
Yes, we are aware of that. Yeah, and
yes.
there's a lot written about it, and the used car market is tanking. And my first question to you is, okay, so you've got a lot full of cars, and some of them you've had for maybe a month on the lot, some of them not so much, but you bought that one car that's still sitting on the lot a month later, and you paid, I don't know, $20,000 for it, and today it's only worth $15,000.
You just brought up a great statement. I'm gonna give you the real hardcore truth.
Tell me.
You saying that just made, because we were just so my older brother Harvey stayed back. We call him Speedy. He stayed back this year while we were racing the last 2 events, and he took care of the pricing. And so when we arrived, we all had our meeting. And so just to tell you about that, right? So you buy in the market, you have to sell in that market.
Right.
So we have Teslas. We have like 7 Teslas that are losing at a minimum of $5,500 a piece, right? So I don't know what made those cars fall off the cliff as bad as they are, but you're right. We have to let them. It is irrelevant what we have in them. It's time to go, because you have to sell in the market that you buy in. So it's irrelevant what we have in them. It's what the market says that they're worth. So we're very aggressive with our pricing.
Because you have to compete not only with the bookkeeper at your dealership, but you got to compete with all of the other used car lots in the United States, really.
Yes, absolutely. So, for example, and I don't know why I'm just thinking of Tesla, because the book has dropped and 3,000 from 2 months ago, 2,000 from last month on just about everything, right? So I'm thinking of the Teslas as I'm talking to you. So those cars, every 30 days we always check our pricing, always, right? We pride ourselves on being the lowest price within 300 miles. So when we pull what we thought we were the lowest price 30 days ago, we look up and we're like, how's that possible? This guy's $2,000 cheaper than me, or $2,500 or $5,000. So what do you got to do? We got to back that number up. So I wish we were like that. Remember that old show back and I guess I was a kid back then. We had Dukes of Hazzard on Friday nights, and after that was Dallas, right? Remember J.R. Ewing used to always drink whiskey. I wish we had a whiskey bar hidden in an office somewhere, because you need to drink something to reduce the prices that we're having to do.
Yeah, I get that.
I say that jokingly, but
I know.
But yeah, it's incredible what the used car market is. So I kind of pulled some numbers. So last year we sold 3,405 cars, right?
Wow.
And that was a full year. So right now we are at what are we? We're at 30. We have to sell 303 more cars just to match that. So from last year's quarter, we are actually up almost 5%. So a little more than 4.5% from last year's quarter from this time.
Yeah.
So our problem is that because the interest rates have gone up, now people are coming in and they're grinding, right? So they didn't realize when people were buying cars. So when we would sell a car, it'd be, you get good credit would get 2.5%, right? So now that number is 6%. So we're losing a lot of financing because people want to go to their credit union. So that obviously hurts the back end for the dealers.
Right.
Now also, people coming in, they when the interest rates are at 6%, or they can get a little lower at their credit union, but they don't understand that when they bought their car 2 years ago or even a year ago, when the interest rates were a lot lower, they don't understand. So they're having trouble committing to that sale because they don't want to get in debt. And then people trying to trade in their cars that they bought a year or two ago, they're upside down, and the market dictates what you sell them for. Again, and not to sound redundant, but they don't understand why their car is worth a dramatic amount of money less and why they're so far upside down. So we have a lot of challenges we're trying to overcome. And I think John Clay Wolf said, right, if you didn't make money in the car business in 2022, then you might as well get out, because you're not going to make it, because those were the good times earlier in the year and then last year as well.
Where do you see things going here in the next year, Jerry?
Well, I think, it's falling at a rapid pace. I don't think, it can't get any worse. I think probably in March, I think we'll be leveled off, and I think people are going to start buying again, and people are going to they're going to understand that things cost what they cost, and then car sales will kind of just drift along and actually pick back up.
And, they're starting to build more and more new cars, but typically speaking, you're not in that market. But I know that the last 2 years really have been kind of an anomaly where you have kind of taken the place of many new car sales. And,
sure.
and I can understand that. But now with auto manufacturing kind of trying to get back to where it was, which I don't think it'll ever be, I don't worry about you so much because, you've been doing this long enough to know that the market does fluctuate. But I would imagine that the used car market has now expanded to the point where it's not sustainable at the number that you have been selling the past couple of years. But you, like you said, you're going to fall back to something that is much more comfortable. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. That's right.
Yeah.
And we've always, pre-pandemic, we've always had our niche of cars that we've sold, because you're always going to have the people that don't want to go buy new. They don't want to be in debt for that, 5 to 7 years, whatever they're going to buy that new car. You're always going to have someone that wants $25,000 car, because that's what they can afford. That's what they're going to budget for. So I think as long as we stick to what we know, we're not worried. It's obviously with the inventory that we have, we just have to right that ship. We just got to get rid of what we have and buy in the new market. And I think, as the months go along, we're going to be okay. But we're going to stick to what we know. And I've said this before on previous shows. We sell that $25,000 car and back sells great. But it's hard to find that, right? I mean, it's hard to find it. We just sold a 2007 Toyota Sienna van, loaded up. It had like 89,000 miles, close to 100,000 miles, but it was clean, well kept. It was a trade-in, and it didn't stay on the lot. I think it sold in 3 days, and it sold for a little bit more than the retail book value. But the price point was so attractive. You're always going to have that buyer. You're always going to have that buyer that has $12,000 to $15,000 in cash that wants to buy that rather than go buy, a 5-year payment to a brand new van. Right. You're always going to have that.
Well, if that was maintained, as you said, very well over the 89,000 miles, it's still got a good 70,000 miles left in it.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And David Ainsley's got one of those from Jerry.
Yep,
absolutely.
That's right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's always great to talk to you, and I guess you're home for a while because drag racing doesn't start till in February.
That's right. For us, it starts late February for our first Lucas Oil divisional race. Now we're still waiting to hear back from our sponsor, Lucas Oil Products. They've done a lot of cutbacks with their sponsorship program. So we generally know around December the 15th if we're connected with them again for another season. So we're crossing our fingers for that. I just wanted to make a note. How about Stan Holt? I don't know if you guys have talked to him with Lupe Tortilla. He made it down to the final 8 cars in Pomona, California. 8 cars. So that's pretty impressive. Stan was having a really good time. Mm-hmm. They did a really good job in Vegas at the Las Vegas National event. The gentleman that helps him, J. Rod Grenier.
Yep.
He's like the right-hand man, helps him work on all the cars. And he was the runner-up in the competition eliminator and drove a really good race. I mean, you can't be mad. He did a great job. Just came up, I think, 11 thousandths short in the final. But what was really cool is that the gentleman that he ran was a guy by the name of Jeff Taylor. He's been doing it for a long time. And doing so, by losing to Jeff Taylor, that gave him his 50th national event win, which is a pretty impressive feat in the NHRA sportsman drag racing world. So that was kind of cool.
Wow.
But Lupe Tortilla had a great season, man. Sheila was driving really good. She needed just a little bit of luck. But Stan getting down to 8 cars in Pomona, we were really happy to see that.
And I like the name of her car too, Chick with a Stick.
That's it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So what are you going to do with all this time on your hands till February?
We have a lot of work to get done. We have 2 cars, the 69 Camaros that have the roll bar. It has a 6-point roll bar in it. We're going to put a roll cage in it because if you go into 9s, which our cars are capable of doing it, but we have it detuned so they don't do that. So if you go into 9s, you have to get a cage put in it. Well, my nephew driving one of the Camaros had a heads-up run like we were just talking about earlier, and to win the round, he had to go, I think he went like 980 something.
Wow. And
the NHRA came over and wanted to, because they're very strict on the rules. They wanted to look at the certification on the roll cage, and they opened the door and said, it's not a roll cage, this is a roll bar. So it took about an hour and a half for them to say, okay, we're going to let you slide this one time, but not again.
Yeah,
so
don't come back.
Yeah.
Don't come back. So anyway, so we're getting 2 cars. We're going to put some roll cages in 2 of the cars. We're pulling motors out of 3 of them, and just do a lot of general maintenance. But trust me, that time gets eaten away pretty quick. So
yeah,
I'm sure we'll be loading up the last car the day before the event.
Jerry, it's a pleasure to talk to you, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's be in touch before you hit the road again in February.
Let's do it. And happy Thanksgiving to you guys. And I got a Wally coming for you. So you got it.
All right. You got it, brother. Thanks again. We appreciate you. Jerry Emmons with Emmons Autoplex down in Webster, right off of I-45.
Great racing family.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great guys. Love to talk to them. A couple of recalls I wanted to mention to you. Ford Motor Company recalling 500,000 F-150 pickups globally because the front windshield wiper motor may stop working on 21 and 22 model years. And those vehicles built at its Dearborn, Michigan truck plant are excluded from the recall because they were built with a different wiper motor design. The front wiper is supplied by Trico Competentes in Mexico. They are
roll your R's a little bit.
The fixed issue, the dealers will replace the faulty wiper motor with a new motor manufactured on or after August 1st. And I know that you're counting the days down.
I am.
I have another recall to tell you about if I can get the page turned.
Mercedes?
It's not Mercedes this time. It's a Tesla. 30,000 Model X's. Being recalled over an issue that might cause the front passenger airbag to deploy incorrectly.
It's not good.
Calibration of a restraint control module or a set of sensors might cause the front passenger airbag to deploy incorrectly during some low-speed crashes. The problem is going to be fixed through an over-the-air software update, according to the company. And, always go to safercar.gov to see if your car is in the recall. I have one bad dealer report to tell you about. FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, sending payments totaling more than $9.8 million to consumers who were harmed by Illinois-based Napleton Auto Group's junk fees and discriminatory practices. Sending out 66,355 checks, averaging $147 each. According to the joint complaint, 8 of the company's dealerships illegally tacked on junk fees for unwanted add-on products, such as payment insurance and paint protection, costing consumers hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The complaint also alleged that Napleton discriminated against black consumers by charging them more for add-ons and financing. Way to go.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
No.
In this day and age, don't buy a car from them, huh? And let's see. One other. AAA estimates the average vehicle owner will spend 9.68 cents per mile or $1,452 over the course of a 15,000-mile year on maintenance and repairs for a new vehicle. Obviously, a used vehicle would be much more. But that was kind of surprising to me.
Cost
That's
effective.
pretty much 10 cents a mile.
Yeah, it's pretty cost
That's a lot.
effective,
Yeah. So, at any rate. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to finish up today's show after these brief messages. Listen closely.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, Houston, America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George Hart Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, ADM, and luxury cars, plus music and models on the celebrity stage presented by Nick's auto repair and classic car restoration. Meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama. November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're online, check out our Facebook page, give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting features, along with all things automotive all week long for free, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing events, and other goodies. You can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeart Radio app. In Wheel Time can also be heard and seen live on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central. 30-minute podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider 7 days a week. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Advertising Manager and Video Technical Director is We Need More Jeff Zekin. For booking agents and podcast editor Mike Mars, and Mr. Know-It-All, his royalty, King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is produced by Dill Weed. Be sure to join us for the next 3-hour In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, Saturday, November 26th, 2022, live from the 62nd Annual Autorama at the George R. Brown Convention Center.
Fun.
Our show starts at 8 a.m. Central on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Have a great, safe weekend. Stop by and say hello when you're at Autorama. We'll see you then.